Welcome into the Great Park for OC Riptide Baseball. Sam Evans alongside Avi Singh. Here's the Riptide after an off day yesterday. Look to get back to winning ways tonight against the San Diego Waves. Avi, the last time these two ball clubs played, it was quite the ball game.
Yeah, it was certainly a good game. This is an underrated San Diego Waves team. You know, they're an affiliate squad, but they're pretty solid. 1-2, they won their first game, lost to the Riptide in a thriller the last time these two teams met at Great Park, but the Riptide have a chance to go 2-0 against these Waves. It's a fun night tonight, double play Tuesday. So, Sam, we got these bingo cards here that the fans will be filling along as the game goes on. If they get a bingo on the card, they get free tickets to tomorrow's game against the other San Diego team, the Bombers. It should be a fun one tonight, and hopefully some free tickets given out to the fans later on.
You got to pick which one. You can't play both bingo cards because I'm only playing one, so we got to play fair up here in the booth.
You know, green is not our team color. I think I'll go with
okay. That's why I went orange. I like it. Good call. So the Riptide have Tommy McGuire, the big righty, on the mound against the Waves lineup. That's led off by Kareem Orusevich in right field, first lefty. Then David Virgil de Dios DHs and bats second. Theo Kim bats third and plays shortstop. Caden Anderson's in the cleanup spot playing second. Evan Schicks at third base and batting fifth. There's 4 straight righties in there for Rusty Huber's team. Owen Baxter, a lefty hitting catcher, bats sixth. Mikey Valdivia plays center and bats seventh, the last righty in the lineup for San Diego. And then 2 lefties, Andreas Nielsen at first and Caleb Wagner in left, round out the lineup. That's going to be facing off against Tommy McGuire. For the Riptide defensively, Reed Montgomery in left, Trajan Rogowski in center, Jarrett Sable in right, Travis Curry's at third, Connor Barth at shortstop, Dennis Fitzpatrick's at the keystone, Justin Tiller's at first, and Nate Pone is doing the catching for Tommy McGuire. Just about ready to get this ball game underway. As McGuire comes set against Orusevich. First pitch from the right-hander misses outside 1-0. So far this summer, McGuire has thrown 6 innings with a 4.5 ERA. Last time we saw him was a week ago against the Academy Barons. He threw 3 innings of 1-run ball. Since that game, he committed to Washington. He's in the transfer portal from Grand Canyon, so congrats to Tommy on becoming a Husky. The 1-0 misses outside, 2-0.
Well, it's a special game here for Tommy McGuire. It's his first Riptide start on the mound as a member of the Washington Huskies, so you know he needs to maintain his form here and show those folks up in Seattle why they gave him that scholarship offer.
It's behind in the count, 2-0 to the first batter of the night, Orusevich. That's upstairs for ball 3. So McGuire, who's only walked 1 in his 6 innings this summer, behind in the count, 3-0.
He just keeps going outside with his first 3 pitches. Can't find the strike zone there. We'll see if he wants to change location here on the 3-0.
Needs to find the strike zone here. And does. 3-1 count. Now Kareem Orusevich at the plate. In 2 games in the CCL for the Waves this summer is hitting .500. He went 1 for 2 with an RBI up against the Santa Barbara Foresters 5 days ago. That was San Diego's last action here in the league. 3-1. Outside for ball 4. And Orusevich draws the leadoff walk. Checks off the first thing all day long on our bingo card as well. Or at least my orange bingo card. Does yours have a walk?
I do.
Okay, so we're still all square. Now David Virgil de Dios, the DH, comes to the plate. Went 1 for 2 against the Foresters with a double. Scored a run and was hit by a pitch in the last ball game for San Diego. Hitting 167. That double was his first base hit of the summer. Long pause for McGuire. He misses a little bit down, 1-0. And some early control issues for Tommy McGuire.
And you mentioned earlier that Orusevich was 1 for 2 in his last game. He was 1 for 2 the last time the Waves played the Riptide as well, so he reaches base against the Riptide in both these games against Orange County.
Weekly tapped back towards the mound. McGuire gathers it. He'll flip underhand to first for the easy out as Orusevich moves to second. So effectively a sacrifice bunt there on the chopper back to McGuire.
Well, it's both a literal and figurative comebacker to Tommy McGuire because it went right to him, but he gets the out at first. And so now he gets to work with an out on the scoreboard here, even though Orusevich is over in scoring position.
So now Theo Kim coming to the plate here. Kim had been listed as a righty, but in the lefty batter's box. And he takes strike one, 0-1. Kim from UC Irvine hit 208 right there for them last season, just 16 games played. 0-1 outside, count evens up at 1-1. Theo hit a home run against the Arroyo Seco Saints back on June 5th. That was San Diego's first game of the summer. 1-1 to Kim. Weekly chopped foul, 1-2. Checks off another on our bingo card tonight as well. McGuire looking for his first punch out of the ball game. He's got the 4-seam, the 2-seam, the sweeper, and the cutter. So a lot of options for McGuire to work with. 1-2. Outside. Nice job from Pone to gather that one and make sure there was no advance for Rusevich.
It was Kim who led the charge the last time against the Riptide, a 3 RBI knock in that first game against Orange County here at Great Park, so we'll look to have the same productivity against Tommy McGuire tonight.
2-2. Hit towards left field. Montgomery takes a couple steps back, but he makes the catch and looks Rusevich back to second. So now 2 outs as Caden Anderson comes to the plate.
A nice job here for McGuire to bounce back with the 2 quick outs after giving up that leadoff walk to Rusevich. And now all you have to do is strand him over at second and get out of this inning clean. McGuire has not allowed a run in the first inning in any of his last 3 starts, so he can continue that trend here if he can get Anderson out.
First pitch to Caden Anderson, who's hitting 400 so far in this young summer. Strike at the knees, 0-1. Caden Anderson was at the Iowa Western College, where he hit 329, but he's uncommitted now, looking for a new home at the end of this summer. Trying to prove here in the CCL why he deserves that new home. 0-1. Ground ball towards second. Fitzpatrick has to charge, but he'll throw to first in time. So after the leadoff walk, McGuire puts up a 0. The Riptide bats will be coming up momentarily. Bottom of the first inning here in Irvine. Still tied at 0 after the Waves could not score against Tommy McGuire. The Riptide lineup today is led off by Trajan Rogowski playing center. Jarrett Sable, after an off day on Sunday, plays in right field. Connor Barth, shortstop, bats third. Justin Tiller slides down to the cleanup spot after hitting second and third for the last few days. Travis Curry draws his first start at the hot corner today and bats fifth. Zach Woodson DHs and bats sixth. Dennis Fitzpatrick just recorded the out to end the inning. He's over at second base and batting seventh. Reed Montgomery, for the first time all seasons, not batting out of the number 9 hole. He's in the 8th spot with Nate Pone doing the catching out of the number 9 spot in the lineup. 5 righties, 4 lefties for Brian Evans and his team, and they're spread out, so it goes righty, lefty, the whole way through. The Waves defense, Caleb Wagner in left, Mikey Valdivia in center, Kareem Rusevich in right, Evan Schick, Theo Kim, the left side of the infield, Caden Anderson, Andreas Nielsen, the right, and Owen Baxter does the catching for the lefty Matthew Viveros. Out of Mount Sac, his teammates with the Riptide's Dayton Thompson. He's been great so far for San Diego this summer. In 2 starts, 6 2/3 innings, a 1.35 ERA. He pitched in the game the Waves played here against the Riptide. He threw 2 scoreless innings in that ball game.
Well, he dealt in his last outing as well. It was the Waves' third game all season in CCL play up in Santa Barbara back on the 18th. 4 2/3 innings of work, 3 hits, just 1 run allowed. He's a solid pitcher out there on the mound. We saw it the last time he took on the Riptide, and the key for Orange County is this switch lineup getting to him early.
Rogowski's done a great job of getting aboard all season. Got a .539 on-base percentage, bolstered by 10 walks in 9 games. Takes strike 1 from Viveros. Rogowski was with the Riptide when the Waves came to town a couple weeks ago, but Rogowski did not play in that game. He was still nursing a knee injury that set him back for about a week. Swings at the second pitch, weakly hit towards right field. The right fielder, Arusevich, got a bad jump on it, and that'll allow Rogowski to fall in. Looked like Arusevich started back and then stumbled trying to come in. So a leadoff single for Trajan Rogowski and early action on the base pass for the Riptide.
Well, if Arusevich didn't trip up over himself over there in right field, that probably would have been a routine fly out for a quick first out for Viveros. Instead, it works in the Riptide's favor, and Rogowski reaches first. He'll take it.
This is about the cloudiest day that we've had at the Great Park all season. It's cleared up a little bit, but especially pregame, super cloudy makes it tough on the outfielder. I was talking to Rogowski and Woodson about the challenges that come with the clouds as Sable takes strike 1.
Well, for some reason, it decided to rain for about 3 minutes on our way to the ballpark. It was not in the forecast at all. It was supposed to be a sunny day instead, and it's become a gloomy one here at Great Park, and the Riptide will hope that the gloom doesn't befall them here against the Waves.
Yeah, Orange County went 2-1 against these Waves last summer. Though the Waves did win a big 11-2 blowout. So Orange County hoping to keep good stuff rolling here at the Great Park, where they're 7-2 so far this summer. Couple checks towards first on Rogowski, who's back in safely again. He's 7 for 8 on stolen bases this summer. Definitely a guy you want to keep an eye on.
This is not a Waves team you want to mess around with. They're definitely better than the Bombers, but they're worse than the Barons, who we saw on Sunday, so they're more of a lower mid-tier squad in the CCL. A sneaky team, however, we saw it in the last time these two teams played each other. That's why you want to get to them early, and that's why Jarrett Sable has to perform here with 2 strikes.
Yeah, quickly behind in the count. You know, that's my favorite thing about baseball is even when you have a team that you might not expect to be as good any given night. That's sort of the motto. You've seen the Riptide upset teams and drop games they probably shouldn't have already this year. So 1-2 count on Sable as that one gets in the dirt.
Well, Santa Barbara, who the Riptide beat, have only lost 1 game, and it was to the Riptide in Santa Barbara. Not a lot of people thought that the Riptide would win over there against the Foresters, but they were able to do it. So to your point, anything could happen on any given day, and that's why you got to stay locked in each and every one of these ball games and take things one day at a time.
These Waves are super motivated. They don't play a ton of baseball here in the CCL, but they do a little bit of everything. They actually spent the week from the 10th to the 15th up in Alaska in Fairbanks playing against the Alaska Gold Panthers. So they sort of do a little bit of everything throughout the whole summer and get to experience all kinds of different things, but they relish the opportunity to take on a team like the Riptide, who are full of D1 players.
It's not all the time you see a squad play in 3 different leagues, but that's what a San Diego Waves team has done so far this summer.
Full count to Sable, who chops it foul. Stays here on 3-2. Nice job to work it full after quickly being behind 0-2.
So they play in 3 different leagues. The Western Baseball Association, that's where they're from. Bombers are from there as well. And then, of course, that 6-game series up in Alaska in the Alaska League and here in the CCL.
3-2. Slapped foul. Rogowski was running on the pitch. Not a bad decision with the 3-2 count, but he'll have to go back towards first after the foul ball from Sable.
Yeah, you might as well go for the hit and run there, see if you can get Rogowski across and hope that Sable gets a knock, which would give Rogowski a cleaner opportunity to get home, but instead the ball goes foul and he has to head back to first.
Sable leads the Riptide with 12 walks drawn this season. He's also got 10 strikeouts. Another pick over towards first. Rogowski back in without having to dirty up his uniform. Sable's sort of been in these deep counts all summer. When you have a lot of walks and a lot of strikeouts, you have to have confidence and be comfortable in these situations. 3-2's popped up. The catcher, Baxter's having a hard time finding it, but he's able to make the catch. Out number one, just a hair into foul territory. Long battle, but Viveros gets Sable. And one down now for Connor Barth at the plate.
Well, props to Sable there for putting up a fight against Matthew Viveros, but that was probably the last outcome you want because, one, it's an out, and two, there's no play for Rogowski to get in a scoring position.
He's got plenty of speed, though. Certainly wouldn't shock me if he tried to steal here with Barth at the plate. Another guy who's been raking so far for the Riptide, hitting .317 in 12 games so far this summer. Takes strike one. Nice fastball from Viveros.
Rogowski, who's over at first, has 7 stolen bases on the season, so you know he can take off at any time. We'll see if Brian Evans wants to give him the signal.
The only member of the Riptide with more stolen bases than Rogowski is Alex Dolan, who's not available after an injury. As that one's in there, make it a 0-2 count here on Connor Barth. Second straight batter that Viveros has gotten ahead 0-2 of. But with Dolan unavailable, thanks to his fingernail injury that occurred weightlifting, Rogowski's pretty much the biggest threat to steal bases the Riptide have. The Waves know it, and that was the closest one yet. Viveros sort of threw over right as Rogowski was taking a step towards second, but he was able to react quick enough to get back in there.
And you have to be especially careful with a southpaw on the mound because the way that they turn so quickly to first, it's easier for them to pick off.
Fouled back. Barth stays alive in the 0-2. Yeah, I was having trouble on MLB The Show getting picked off by the lefties all the time. Can only imagine how much harder it is in real life. Now with Barth at the plate, Rogowski on first. They were both at Folsom Lake County last season. They're living together this summer here at the Riptide. Rogowski runs. Pitch outside is a fastball ball, but the throw down to second's in time to get Rogowski. Bad pitch to run on there as Viveros pretty much threw a pitch out, whether intentionally or not. And Rogowski's caught stealing, so now 2 outs and bases empty here for Barth in the 1-2 count.
Yeah, it appeared to be a pitch out. A designed one, too. They knew he was going to take off eventually, happened to get it on the right pitch, and unfortunately for Rogowski, that throw behind the dish beats him out.
1-2, fouled back. Baxter is frustrated that he couldn't hang on to the foul tip from Barth, but the battle continues.
Even though there's 2 outs and nobody on, one thing the Riptide have done that's definitely a positive here in the bottom of the first is putting together good at-bats here against Viveros and making him work. Almost around 20 pitches already.
1-2. Inside. To your point, more pitches for Viveros to throw. Always good to let more guys in the dugout see what he's doing, tire him out, get into this bullpen as much as possible. Probably the best arm the Waves are going to throw today. 2-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. So with the help of the caught stealing, Viveros works a 1-2-3 inning. We're all knotted up as 0 as we go to the second. This half inning is brought to you by Chick-fil-A in Woodbury Town Center. Tommy McGuire to face off against Evan Schick. First pitch swinging, lifts one to left field. Montgomery takes a couple steps into the gap and makes the catch. So one pitch, one out there for McGuire, and a nice start to the second inning.
4 straight outs here for Tommy McGuire after the leadoff walk, a good sign, and especially better because he got a quick out here in the second inning. Through his starts that he's had so far, those 3 starts, the second inning has been where Tommy McGuire has started to falter. So if he can get through the second inning clean, that's a positive sign for Tommy out there on the mound.
McGuire was juicing up the baseball. He likes to put oranges on the ball since it helps him be sticky, makes it easier to throw. See, misses the zone outside 1-0. So he was sitting in the dugout pregame, got an orange that he cut in half, just rubbing the peel and all the juicy parts of the orange all over the baseball. So 1-0 count for McGuire. Outside 2-0. And a happy birthday to Owen Baxter. He's another year older, the catcher who's batting right now for San Diego. Looking for his first hit of the summer. Trying to give himself a birthday present.
I just had to say the orange did not do McGuire any favors on that last pitch.
Maybe without the orange, it could have been so much worse. 2-0, gets a swing and a miss, 2-1.
And it apparently has to be the orange, too, because Brandon Weiland had asked Tommy McGuire about using a grapefruit instead or some other sort of citrus, but no, it has to be an orange. It has to be cut in half, and you have to get an equal amount of the orange on each baseball.
Because the orange has the highest amount of sugar, is at least the science that Tommy uses. This is 2-1, finds the outside part of the plate, 2-2.
Was that a legal move to rub baseballs with oranges? Because you're not allowed to spit on the baseball. That was banned a long time ago. I know there's other preventative measures.
I think that McGuire does it in the same way that, teams like muddy up the baseball, that you're allowed to treat the baseball how you'd like at home in order to make sure it's up to your appropriate standards. 2-2. McGuire looking for the K on the birthday boy. There's your present. Baxter chases down and away. First strikeout of the day for Tommy McGuire.
That was a mean thing to say on somebody's birthday. There's your present.
He's playing for the other team. So if he was on the Riptide, then I would be much more supportive. I hope he had a lovely day up to this point. But once Tommy McGuire's on the mound, my allegiance is clear. And I have to say, I'm already at 3 out of 5 on my way to bingo. So I'm pretty excited. That misses outside the zone, 1-0. Just need another single, and I need the bases to get loaded at some point in the game. And then we're celebrating up here in the booth. Mikey Valdivia at the plate. 2 outs and base is empty. Still no score on this ball game. That misses down and in. McGuire falls behind 2-0. Came back from down 2-0 to strike out Baxter just a batter ago. Valdivia hitting 182 so far this summer. Takes ball 3 down. Rusevich was up in the count 3-0 and walked to lead off this ball game. It's the last batter to reach for San Diego. Just trying to find the strike zone here if you're the right-hander McGuire. Does that 3-1 count. Valdivia's from Iowa Western, so playing alongside his teammate Caden Anderson, who ended the first inning. He'll be back with the Reavers next year, not in the transfer portal. 3-1, misses down for ball 4, and a 2-out walk for the Raves center fielder.
It was a good start to the second inning for McGuire. 2 straight outs, but now the walk over there. And with the runner at first base, you have to be careful here. The second is where you start to allow those runs. So if you can get just one more out and get out of the inning clean, that's a good sign for the rest of your start and for Tommy McGuire.
Not the guy you want to have up at the plate. Andreas Nielsen went 3 for 3, had a double, an RBI, a run, and stole a base against the Riptide the first time these two teams played. Swings at the first pitch and fouls it off down the left side and out of play. Just over the Riptide bullpen. Sorry, go ahead.
if you go to the CCL stats website, Nielsen is technically, I believe, third in batting average in terms of leaders, even though he's only played in 3 games. So up to you whether or not you want to count him there.
Well, the nature of the rule, it's about how many plate appearances per team game to be qualified a leader. So Nielsen's behind 0-2 after a nice off-speed pitch from McGuire. So technically speaking, he's taken enough at-bats, plate appearances relative to the 3 games San Diego's played. He's played in all 3 of them, so you know what, more power to him as long as he keeps slugging. It's hard to argue with him. Behind in the count here. Outside, nice job from Pone to snag that one, just a little bit down and away.
Challenge pitch there for McGuire up 0-2 in the count. Just trying to get him to swing at something outside, and it's a pitch you can afford to waste when you're ahead, so we'll see if he wants to waste another one, see if he can get him to chase.
1-2 with Valdivia on first, being held on by Tiller. He runs, pitches a ball. Pone stumbled trying to transfer it. That'll allow Valdivia to steal the base. So now a runner in scoring position here for the Waves as they try and strike first. Nielsen's been able to get back to a 2-2 count. Hit .231 for the Saddleback Bobcats last season. 2-2. Swing and a miss. Pone applies the tag, and that'll end the top of the second inning. We're still tied at 0 here at the Great Park. Bottom of the second inning is brought to you by First Class Pizza in Woodbury Town Center. Justin Tiller coming to the plate against Matthew Viveros as we're looking for the first run of this ball game. Tiller will be followed by Travis Curry and Zach Woodson, lefty, righty, lefty for Orange County against the lefty Viveros. Tiller, so far this summer, sitting .281. He's gotten on base all 11 games that he's played with the Riptide. So he goes after the first pitch, hits it hard down the right field line, going back all the way to the warning track. It'll be a foul ball. It got over the right field fence. Arusevich was chasing it, but it just kept fading foul. And that's a long strike one for Justin Tiller.
Well, if it stayed fair, it would have been out of here. Would have been the second home run that the Riptide have hit against the Waves. Of course, Jarrett Sable had that big 3-run home run in the first game that these two teams played in.
0-1 to Tiller, who swings and fouls it back 0-2. Justin Tiller, for all his power, he hit 10 home runs at Cypress, does not have an extra base hit here with the Riptide, and that would have been a great way to start his extra base tally. But instead, he'll have to battle from behind in the count, 0-2. 0-2. Outside, 1-2.
Well, what Tiller has lacked in power, he's made up for in walks, and it's because of his eye out there. You saw it on the last pitch, not to chase that. Just 8 hits on the season, but he has 10 walks, so he has more walks than he does hits, and it's because of that plate discipline that Tiller has.
1-2, strike 3 called. As Koppenberger behind the plate rings Tiller up. That's back-to-back Ks for Viveros. And now one out for Travis Curry.
With that strikeout looking, Sam, I'm one play away from a bingo.
Oh my gosh, I picked the wrong card.
It just happens to be a diving play, so we'll see if we can get some defensive magic later in the game.
That's a tough one, but we've seen the Riptide and their opponents make some nice plays at points this season. As Curry takes a 0-1. Travis Curry's played pretty much middle infield all year, second base and shortstop, but today he's starting at third, so getting to show off the arm a little bit more at the hot corner. 0-1 inside. Looks like it clipped Curry, so it'll be a hit by pitch, and he'll reach with one out.
It caught him low near that front leg guard, and it allows Curry to reach over at first base. But you're talking about how he's over at third today. Seems like we've seen more of a rotation from the Riptide at third ever since Landry Stamps departed after committing to Charleston. So, of course, Bradley Boudreaux, who's been playing at third all season, he's had reps there. Slater Nunez has moved to third, and now it looks like Travis Curry is getting a go over there at the hot corner as well.
Always good to have more versatility, more guys that you can plug and play at different positions. Now Zach Woodson, who's DHing today, swings at the first pitch. Little blooper that's going to fall in left field for a base hit. Curry wants to go to third. He'll get in there. And the bloop single for Zach Woodson puts runners at the corners. Nice job being aggressive, jumping on the first pitch that Viveros throws. And big chance here early in the game for the Riptide to take the lead.
And it's great seeing Zach Woodson get his 6th hit of the season right there. I was talking to him earlier, and he said he's feeling really good at the plate. Of course, it was a bit of a slow start for him, but he made up for it in those walks. But he feels like he's seeing the ball well and swinging it out there on the plate, and he's able to do it with some style here. Those bloop singles, just putting it out of the reach of the outfielders. It's worked out for Zach Woodson, and just like that, it's runners on the corners thanks to him.
Now Dennis Fitzpatrick at the plate. Went 1 for 2, scored a run, was hit by a pitch on Sunday against the Barons. He takes inside 1-0. If you're Fitzpatrick, got to just try and lift one out to the outfield here, bring home Curry, and bring home the first run of this game. So Curry with good speed on third. Woodson slides back into first as Viveros wants to check on him. So far this season, Woodson's 1 for 3 on stolen bases, so hasn't been particularly successful when trying to swipe a bag. Fitzpatrick's up in the count, 1-0. Fouls it back to even up the count at 1-1. He's done a good job at the plate so far this summer, hitting .333 in 6 games. He's done a good job of getting aboard with walks and hit by a pitch as well. But a little bit of trouble in the field. That's where the problem point's been for Fitzpatrick, who's had a hard time with some grounders and some pop-ups at points this summer. That one misses high, 2-1 count.
It's really just been the story all season with the Riptide as a whole. We know they can put runs on the board, 12 on Friday, 10 on Saturday. The pitching's been excellent, but it's those fielding mistakes that have costed them in games like we saw on Sunday against the Barons. But if they can clean that up, they have the makings of a championship squad.
2-1, popped up foul behind home, so 2-2. And I think in many ways the most important number for the Riptide on the scoreboard is the errors. If you can make 0 errors and play a clean game for 9 innings, there are very few teams, if any, in the CCL that I think can beat the Riptide on a night-in, night-out basis. 2-2 on Fitzpatrick. You really want to avoid the K. Viveros has 2 of them already. He wants to throw to first and make sure Woodson's not getting too far away from the first base bag.
Even if you can get something in the infield and it's an out, just hit it away from that left side. Make sure that there's no room for either a double play and at least some room for Curry to come in.
2-2. Chopped foul over to the left side towards the Riptide dugout. More long at-bats. We talked about that in the first inning as a real key for the Riptide, making Viveros work.
He's almost at 30 pitches here, and we're not even through the second inning. Still 2 outs left in the inning.
Swing and a miss. Now there's one. Fitzpatrick can't catch up to the fastball from Viveros. That's a big strikeout right there.
That was the last thing the Riptide wanted. You said it yourself earlier in the at-bat, Sam, the strikeout, but sometimes that's just how the game works out. The good thing is, however, you have a red-hot bat in Reed Montgomery stepping up to the plate, so you have faith that he can deliver here with 2 outs and runners on the corners.
Yeah, Reed Montgomery's had 2 straight games with 3 hits, went 3 for 5, was a homer short of the cycle, up at slow on Saturday, and 3 for 4 with a double on Sunday. He's up in the count 1-0 here. Like many guys on this Riptide team, Reed's in the transfer portal. Performances like he's had these last 2 ball games that have lifted his batting average up to .387, certainly helping in the portal. Long pause, the 1-0. Misses down, 2-0 count. Do have a base open at second. Should bring up Nate Pone, the Riptide catcher, to the plate in a huge spot. And it would also load the bases, which would put me at bingo. So, I mean, personally, I would not complain about hitting bingo in the second inning. 2-0. Swing and a miss, 2-1.
I'm curious to see how Reed hits today because he's in the 8th spot in the lineup and not the 9 spot where he's batted all season long, ever since opening day. And, you know, you may not think that's a big deal, but for some guys it's a comfort thing, you know, when you're due up, and so it can affect you mentally.
2-1 misses down and away. 3-1 count for Reed Montgomery. He's trying to not let the adjustment up to the 8th spot affect him and show Brian Evans why he should move up even further in the lineup.
There's just 3 walks for Montgomery so far in the season to 11 strikeouts. The K has been a problem for him out there. He's an aggressive bat. We'll see if he wants to hold off up 3-1.
He does not. 3-2.
Case in point right there. He swings at the 3-1, goes for the fences. Montgomery can be an even better hitter at the plate. He just needs to shorten up when he's ahead in the count and make sure that he's getting good pitches to swing at instead of going trigger happy on everything he sees.
Payoff pitch. Woodson runs. Strike 3 called. Big K for Viveros, who gets 3 of them in the inning. Works out of a runners at the corners jam with just 1 out. We are still scoreless through 2 innings here at the Great Park. The bottom, or the top of the 3rd inning is brought to you by Fan Saves. Caleb Wagner at the plate, Tommy McGuire on the mound. After Wagner, the lineup flips over for San Diego. Rusevich and Virgil de Dios coming up to bat. A little bit of a delay here as people who were wrapped in tape have to leave the field for the mid-inning game. To be honest, I'm not really sure what they were up to, but I'm sure it was a good time. I want to be a part of one of these mid-inning games at some point. I got to get out of the booth, you know. First pitch to Caleb Wagner. He swings and misses at one that hits him, so a painful strike. But McGuire's up in the count, 0-1.
I don't know if I'd do a mid-inning game, but I would like to do what the Chicago Cubs do, go up and sing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" at some point, lead the crowd. I think that would be fun.
That'd be a good one. 0-1 on Caleb Wagner, who takes strike 2 on the outside part of the plate. Only played in one game this summer for San Diego. He went 0 for 3. Did score a run. Their opening game win over Arroyo Seco. He hit .284 at Menifee last season. 0-2. Laced into right field for a base hit. That'll fall in front of Sable. And Wagner leads off the third inning. The first hit of the day for the Waves.
First hit in the CCL all season for Wagner as well. Didn't have a hit in the one game that he played before this, but he's in the lineup and he makes it count.
So he's aboard for the top of the order. Kareem Rusevich, who walked to lead off this ball game, eventually advanced to second on a ground out where he was left. Now this is a little bit of a throwback for Tom McGuire and Nate Pone. They both went to Villa Park High School. Nate Pone's a year younger than McGuire, but obviously teammates in high school, caught each other a couple times, or Pone caught McGuire. So got to be fun for the two of them to be reliving their high school days, and a lot of comfort for them as well.
Well, we talked to Nate Pone the other week about, who he knew coming into this team, and the very first person he went to was Tommy McGuire. He talked about how great their relationship is and how fun it was to play with each other back at Villa Park High School, and so it's great to see them out there working together here at the collegiate level.
1-0 count. McGuire misses the zone up and away. But I'm sure that just makes everything so much easier. A lot of the time in summer ball, you're catching guys who you've never seen before or only pitched with for an inning or so, and got to be way easier to have all the comfort that McGuire and Pone have. Nice off-speed pitch for a strike, evens up the count at 1-1. And this is Tom McGuire's third straight summer here with the Riptide. Across the first two, he threw 35 1/3 innings, just a 2.8 ERA. He's a quick move to first. Taylor is able to handle the low throw. But a lot of comfort in this ballpark for Tom McGuire, who will be here the whole summer. That's what he's told us. Looking forward to have Tommy with us for the whole summer after he had to leave halfway through the summer last time. Mainly because during his sophomore year in the spring of 2025, he threw 89 innings for Cypress. This year, a little bit of a lighter workload at Grand Canyon, only 26. 1-1. Pitch misses up and in. 2-1 count now to Rusevich.
Well, it's good to see that he's planning to stay too, even with a commitment to Washington, because sometimes when you do commit midsummer, they'll tell you to maybe shut down the throwing just to make sure you don't injure yourself before they give you the scholarship. But Washington's letting McGuire fly here with the Riptide.
2-1. Misses the zone down and away. A 3-1 count. McGuire's had a little bit of trouble with control. Came into today with just the one walk in 6 innings. He's already walked 2 through his first 2, and he's 1 pitch away from potentially walking Rusevich for the second time. 3-1. Strike, bottom corner. Rusevich looked like he thought he'd worked his second walk of the day, but instead it'll be a 3-2 count here. Wagner still being held on by Tiller at first. Long pause for McGuire. Now the payoff pitch. Fisted into center field, falling fast. Rogowski charges and makes the play, and they've got Wagner caught as well. That'll be 2. Great defense for Trajan Rogowski. Fantastic jump on that baseball and caught Caleb Wagner napping. So now the bases are empty here for David Virgo de Dios.
Well, they called today's promotion Double Play Tuesday. There's a very fitting play for you right there.
little bit of redemption for Trajan Rogowski. Last week he had a play where sort of a similar one. It was more of a blooper than that liner, but he overran a baseball. He said he lost it in the lights. It's the first pitch in there for a strike, 0-1. But great stuff there. Charged it super aggressively and heads-up awareness to throw to first as well. Threw a dart to Tiller and 2 quick outs. I'm sure McGuire appreciates it on the mound as well. The 0-1 sweeper finds the zone. And now McGuire, who just a couple seconds ago was very close to having the first 2 minutes of the inning reach. Instead, now bases empty. He's 1 strike from getting out of the inning with a 1-2-3 frame. Sure can turn on a dime. 0-2. Plunked him. Virgo de Dios gets hit up and in. That's got to be a frustrating one for McGuire, who had him up in the count 0-2.
We've seen a few of these pitches from McGuire that have quite simply gotten away from him. Seems to be a command issue out there. Again, I don't know if the orange peel is helping that much with the command, but he's got to find his grip on these pitches because if you keep throwing outside like that, something like the hit was bound to happen.
So now Theo Kim, who flew to left field his first time up. And credit to McGuire, even though he hasn't had his best stuff, not the control he normally does, 2 2/3 scoreless innings so far. First pitch to Kim in there for a strike, 0-1.
And he hasn't pitched a start in which he hasn't allowed a run in the second inning, save for opening day against the Bombers. So runs in the second inning in each of his last 2 starts. He's already surpassed that. He's looking for his second shutout start here.
0-1. Chopped foul down the first base line, and second straight hitter that McGuire's ahead 0-2. That first start against the Bombers that was scoreless, he only worked an inning, so this could definitely be McGuire's best appearance of the season from a results standpoint. Hasn't quite looked like his usual self out there on the mound, but results-based business. 0-2. Going to put away the switch hitter, Kim. Slapped foul. Kim stays alive. He's just able to get enough on that baseball and keep this battle going.
We have a good hitter at the plate in Kim. You're up 0-2 in the count, so if you want to waste a pitch, now's the time to do it. See if you can get him to chase and stop fouling these fastballs off.
You got to have trust in your catcher Pone behind the plate from all the high school days together. Bounce one and trust Pone to make the play behind it. Instead, lined sharply, Tiller makes a diving play at first.
That's a bingo for Avi Singh.
Bingo for Avi Singh. Bingo for Tommy McGuire. We are scoreless through 2.5 innings. Bottom of the third inning is brought to you by Marucci, the official outfitter of the OC Riptide. And I have to say, my quarter zip finally just came in today, and I am so excited. This is really comfortable. This is a real upgrade, so I love the Marucci quarter zip.
Well, I'm happy for you. Finally get to feel the comfort of this staff quarter zip that I've had since the start of the season.
I know, I'm envious. This Nate Pone takes one outside for squaring to bunt. Pone's facing off against Chapman Weber, the right-hander, into the game for the Waves. First appearance in the CCL this summer. Through 5 1/3 innings for UCSD with an 8.44 ERA. New addition to this Waves roster, was not on the team the last time these two ball clubs met. Pone goes after that one, chopped towards Anderson. Throws to first in time. Nice play by the second baseman on the grounder. And a quick out for Weber since coming into this game.
Well, props to Anderson. That's a tough play to handle with how hard that baseball's being bounced out there, and it hits him in the chest, but he's able to field it cleanly at chest level and make the throw for the out.
We know how fast Nate Pone is, especially for a catcher who's beating it down the line, so you had to hurry. Lineup flips back over. Rogowski at the plate now. He's singled but was caught stealing in the first. First pitch from Weber, down and away, 1-0. It was a bit of a down year for Weber at UCSD. For the Tritons, he made 16 appearances as a freshman, had a 5.74 ERA, ballooned up to over 8 this last season. 1-0, scorched into right center field. Arusevich moving into the gap. He slides and makes the catch. What a play from Kareem Arusevich. Chapman Weber will tip his cap. And some more sparkling defense against the Riptide. We saw A.G. Sawamura take one away from Tatum Marsh in left center on Sunday. And Arusevich does the same to Rogowski right here.
I was just about to mention that Sawamura play, so you read my mind right there. But, boy, is that tough for the Riptide. 2 straight games with an outstanding play in the outfield on a slide and grab. Not much you can do about that except tip your cat, as Chapman Weber did.
Might wish this ballpark was a little bit more hitter-friendly. Sable takes strike one. Had the Justin Tiller fly ball that just twisted foul. The fenceman a little shorter. Might have been able to hook it around the foul pole. And then Rogowski gives one a ride, but stays in the yard, and Arusevich able to chase it down. So base is empty. 2 outs now. 1-1 count to Sable as that one misses up and away.
When I was talking to Zach Woodson earlier about how pitcher-friendly this ballpark is, he said it just feels like the ball dies out there in the air on its way to the outfield, and we've seen a few of those kinds of plays.
0-1 to Sable. Pardon me, 1-1 to Sable. Now 2-1. That one misses inside. You know, occasionally when you're out there in batting practice, you'll see a ball that you know is gone, and then it just isn't. And you'll hear the hitters, the pitchers say, "Oh, that's out of here. You know that's going to go," and then it'll clank off the fence or off the warning track. So ball definitely does not jump off the bat. Sable uncorks one to deep right field, and as we're talking about it, that one bounces off the wall in right field. Just not able to get it out of the ball yard. But Sable, again, haunting the San Diego Waves as he rips a double off the fence in right. And now Connor Barth with an opportunity here and a runner in scoring position for the Riptide.
Almost any other ballpark, that thing's out of here, but the fence so high up at Great Park, it's hard to see balls fly out of the yard. So he clanks it off the top of the wall instead, and he'll take the 2-out double.
I thought that we had spoken it into existence, but instead, just a double for Sable, who homered against the Waves back the first time these two ball clubs met. His 3-run shot turned a 2-run deficit into a 1-run lead. Now he's trying to score the first run as Barth chops one right back up the middle. Rangy play for Anderson from the shortstop side a second, and he makes it. 2 great defensive plays for the Waves. Keep the Riptide off the scoreboard. Still looking for our first run of the ball game through 3. I thought that ball was gone. Oh, he's Top of the fourth inning is brought to you by Richardson, the official headgear provider of the CCL. Still scoreless through 3 innings of this ball game. Tommy McGuire back out there for a 4th frame of work, longest he's worked into a game all summer long. He'll face off against Caden Anderson, Evan Schick, and Owen Baxter, 2 righties and then a lefty here for San Diego. That one misses down and in. Anderson grounded out to second into the 1st inning. His only appearance of the game so far. But that rangy play he made just a couple minutes ago to in the 3rd inning was crucial. So the 1-0 misses inside, and the control issues continue a little bit here for Tommy McGuire.
We had 2 good stops out there at second in the last inning. The play that you just mentioned, and then his first out, which was a bouncer that would eat up almost any second baseman, but he was able to field the velocity at his chest and make the throw to first in time for the out.
Up in the count, 2-0, now 3-0, as McGuire misses inside. With a walk in the first, a walk in the second, and a hit by pitch, and an inning ago in the 3rd. McGuire's given out a free pass of some kind to a San Diego hitter every inning of this game. Finds the strike zone here, 3-1 count. It's just so uncharacteristic to see McGuire struggle like this with command, but been able to work around it well enough to put up 3 zeros and trying to put up a 4th straight one right here. (3-1) to Anderson. Misses way inside. He dances out of the way, but that'll be ball 4.
So the free pass continues there for Tommy McGuire, now 1 in each inning. Continuing here in the 4th with the walk. I just had a great idea. Anderson was the beer batter. If he struck out, it's a $1 discount on beer in the ballpark for all fans ages 21 and older. What if the pitcher walks the beer batter, it's a $1 upcharge on the beer, so that encourages the pitcher to pitch better so that he doesn't get the fans upset at him?
You know, I think the fans would be upset at Tommy right now. So that misses up and in 1-0. Might have to talk to Craig and David, our president and general manager, at the meeting after the game about that idea. Schick flew out to left field. Does not have a base hit yet this summer. Check swing. Misses down and away. 2-0 count.
That was a good location there for McGuire. Just put the ball a little bit too low and barely missed the mark.
I like hunting down in the zone as well. Gives you the potential for a double play. 2-0. That one right at the top of the zone. 2-1. Schick darted out of the way of it, but it's a strike.
Yeah, he certainly didn't like the call. Shook his head after he stepped out of the batter's box, but you'll have to deal with what the home plate umpire gives you.
Schick was first team all-conference for the Marymount Saints, but he's in the transfer portal now. Pops this one up high in the air. Rogowski comes in a couple steps in center and makes the catch. A little bit easier play than the liner that Rogowski had to handle from Rusevich an inning ago. So now Owen Baxter, after striking out to begin his birthday, back up at the plate here. Hit 3 home runs for Iowa Western, had more walks than strikeouts, and a perfect 22 for 22 on stolen bases. So not a guy you want to let get on the base paths. First pitch finds the outside of the zone. Good sweeper from the man they call T-Sweep. He's ahead in the count, 0-1.
I have to say the zone does look a little bit wide out there on the left side tonight.
Good place to go right back out there. Swing and a miss, 0-2. McGuire went down in the zone with the sweeper there.
2 pitches low. See if McGuire wants to throw high here and get Baxter to swing at something upstairs. Change the eye level on him.
0-2. Hit hard to right field, but Sable only has to move back a couple of steps. He was played perfectly, and a second out there on the line out from Baxter.
Yeah, I think because of the speed, Sable thought he had to cover more ground than he really needed to, but I didn't realize the ball was going right to him, so all he had to do was juke back a little bit and turn around to make the catch.
So now Mikey Valdivia, who walked and stole a base back in the top of the second inning, trying to extend the top of the fourth for San Diego. Anderson on first after his leadoff walk. And a first pitch strike puts McGuire ahead in the count, 0-1.
Well, I'm impressed from what we've seen so far from Tommy McGuire. Even with some of the command issues, he's been able to work his way back in the game. Just 1 out away from 4 scoreless.
San Diego sent exactly 4 men to the plate in each of the first 3 innings. Valdivia is the 4th to come here. He golfs one down the right field line. That'll go foul. A little bit further foul, but about equally well hit as Tiller's that we saw earlier in the ballgame. But it's strike 2. McGuire just 1 strike away from getting out of the inning. Valdivia, like a lot of players in this ball club from Iowa Western, he's from Elkhorn, Nebraska, so playing out here in San Diego, out in California, a little bit different for him. 0-2. Slapped foul and out of play. Still 0-2.
Well, I don't know about you, but me personally, no offense to Nebraska, I think I'd rather spend my summer out in Southern California, especially down in San Diego.
Yeah, that probably would be a better place to stay. Driven through Nebraska a couple times. There's a nice fast food place called Runza there. Runner goes, but it's strike 3 as Valdivia chases down in the zone. And a 4th straight 0 put up on the board for Tommy McGuire. He's been great through 4 scoreless innings. The Riptide bats are coming up to try and give him some run support when we come back. Justin Tiller at the plate. New man on the mound for San Diego is Dylan Barintis, the right-hander from Palomar Community College. In 1 2/3 so far this summer, he's allowed 1 run. That came on the 18th against the Foresters. So a scoreless inning for Chapman Weber, and Justin Tiller takes strike 1.
Well, Chapman Weber, the last pitcher, said that if baseball doesn't work out, he wants to go into insurance, which, first of all, he might be the first person I've ever met who willingly wants to go into insurance, but it was a good inning for him. I think he can stick with baseball just a little bit longer.
1-1 to Tiller. You know, I want to say, I don't think it was insurance, but it was accounting that Brian Harbour for the Riptide was interested in. So that's, similar type of vein.
Well, he said he'd also be open, Harbour did, to doing data analytics in baseball. That was another area that interested him there.
1-1. That hits Tiller. So he'll get the painful trip to first base to lead off the inning. The California Collegiate League's biggest event of the summer is coming to Reno, Nevada on Saturday, July 4th. The 2026 CCL All-Star Game will bring together the league's top players and future professional prospects at Greater Nevada Field, home of the Reno Aces. Following the game, fans will enjoy a spectacular fireworks show as part of the America 250 celebration. To purchase tickets and learn more, visit calsummerball.com. And there's definitely some Riptide players who have great cases to be playing in that CCL All-Star Game. Curry waves through the first pitch, 0-1. He was hit by a pitch, just like Tiller, who's on first in the second inning. So many standout guys for the Riptide this summer. 0-1. Right back up the middle into right center field. It's going to get down for a base hit. Tiller's hustling to third. Curry's going to stay at first with a single. But now runners at the corners. And the Riptide threatening again. Nobody out here. And a great opportunity. They had runners at the corners with one out in the second. Now they've got the same situation but with nobody out here in the fourth.
Now batting, mid-designated hitter, number 28, Zach Woodson.
So Zach Woodson, who singled to left field, coming up here. The corners of the infield come in for San Diego. Nielsen at first, Schick at third, close. But the middle infielders, Anderson and Kim, trying to stay deep enough to turn a double play. First pitch swinging, little pop-up right over the shortstop's head. It's going to fall in for a base hit. Wagner gathers in left, but that's another bloop single for Zach Woodson. He started the summer 2 for 20. He's now 5 for his last 8. Orange County leads 1-0.
Well, he said he was feeling confident at the plate, and he's showing it off tonight. 2 for 2, a pair of singles, including the RBI hit just now. First RBI all season for Zach Woodson.
He was due for some luck to go his way. Hasn't hit a ball hard yet tonight, but he's got 2 base hits to show for it. And he's had some loud outs earlier this summer, so baseball gods giving him a little bit back. Now Dennis Fitzpatrick, as Orange County looks to extend their newfound 1-0 lead. Fitzpatrick struck out swinging back in the second inning. He swings and misses there. One way out of the zone, 0-1.
There's another guy that's due for something in Fitzpatrick. It's been a rough week after he had that trouble defensively in the second inning last Sunday against the Barons.
So he takes the strike, 0-2. He just hadn't played all that much. He played in the non-league game against the Malibu Marlins on Thursday. Besides that, 0 games from Sunday to Sunday. He did play in the Riptide's last game against the Barons. So 2 straight starts for Fitzpatrick. Coming up in a big spot here. Behind in the count 0-2. Barrentis looking for his first out. Gets it. Strike 3 called. A nice off-speed drops in the zone. And a big first out of the inning for the Waves.
I just froze him there. Didn't even bother swinging at a breaking ball outside. It's a tough pitch to hit, too, because it looked like it was going right down the middle, and then it darted outside, so there's really not much you can do with that unless you're sitting on it early.
The strikeout looking also got Reed Montgomery during his first at-bat. Coming to the plate here, looking to do some damage. He led the Riptide in RBIs last summer. He's got 6 RBIs already. A couple ducks on the pond right here. Runners go. Pitch bounces in, gets away from the catcher Baxter. Big turn. Curry thought about trying to take 2 bases, but he settles for just the 1, and it's a double steal for the Riptide.
It's runners in scoring position now with 1 out. And now's as good of a time as any to extend this lead. Reed Montgomery at the plate. We know he has some power to him. Just make sure you can get a pitch to hit. You should be able to keep on tacking on here in the bottom of the 4th.
Corners come back in for the Waves. No double play in order here with first base open, but 2 in scoring position. Montgomery takes 1 inside. He's now up 2-0 in the count. More situational baseball here for the Riptide. Taking advantage of the miscue. It's a stolen base since both runners were going, but Baxter couldn't handle the ball. As Montgomery swings through that one. Now a 2-1 count. But just trying to lift the ball to the outfield, put a ball in play. Good things will happen if you read Montgomery with 2 men on and both in scoring position for the Riptide.
We know he loves to swing the bat. He just can't swing it at everything he sees.
Hits that one hard and fair down the first base line. That's going to be extra bases for Reed Montgomery. Woodson and Curry will cruise home. So Montgomery rolls into second on a double that was right over the first base bag. First base umpire Heath Jones was over at second with the way the three-man umpire crew was oriented, but our home plate umpire Joshua Koppenberger made the call, and he said fair ball. And the 2 RBI double for Montgomery. He's up to 8 this summer, and it's a 3-0 Riptide lead.
Yeah, it's definitely the pitch you'll take if you're Reed Montgomery. Inside fastball, pull it right down the line, and I mean right down the line, about as close as you can get. They call it fair, and because of that, it's a 2 RBI double for him.
So now Nate Pone at the plate. Still just 1 out here with the Riptide up 3-0. That finds the outside part of the plate 0-1. I have to say, I'm last now among the press box to hit bingo. Everyone's got it except for me. So I feel like I'm in the wave spot down 3-0. Everyone else, the Riptide, living the dream right now as Pone tries to add on. He pops it up to the right side. First baseman Nielsen will give it a look, but it's going to hop out of play and bounce all the way out of the stadium.
Well, you might be like Owen Baxter, the birthday boy, because you got your present in the quarter zip, but that's really the only thing special of the day.
You know what? If that's what it takes, I would trade being last in bingo for getting my quarter zip, because this is a real upgrade to my life. So an 0-2 count for Nate Pone. Trying to drive home Montgomery. He's already got an RBI this summer. He chops that one. That'll go foul down the third base line. That was a high chopper. Pone was on top of that baseball.
If that stayed fair, that probably would have been an infield single for him, just the way it came off the bat. Stayed in the air forever and then finally landed about as quickly as it could. Just happened to veer foul.
So it has not been the outing that Dylan Barentis wanted. After 3 scoreless innings from Viveros and Weber, comes in and immediately runs into trouble here as the Riptide already have 3. Montgomery in scoring position as Orange County tries to make it 4. Pone takes up and in, 1-2 count.
Was the last pitcher Weber that wanted to work in insurance? I think Barentis might be better suited with that the way this inning has gone.
Ouch. One, 2 to Pone, up and in. This is the number 9 man in the lineup for the Riptide, so it's only going to get harder after Pone. It's Rogowski on deck, followed by Sable, who had the double off the wall in right last time up. Great opportunity for a crooked number. 2-2. Sky high pop up, but this will be out of play over to the right side, and the battle will continue.
And how about this battle? Down 0-2 early. He's been able to punch and claw his way back here against Barentis. He's looking for any opportunity he can get to put the ball in play and at least get Reed to third.
It's a fierce competition for playing time behind the plate. Pone's only played in 2 games, now 3 this summer. But he wants to make this one count. Takes inside for ball 3. And a full count for Nate Pone, who's done a fantastic job here. First base is open for Barentis, but you don't want to walk the number 9 man.
There's some nasty break on that curve from Barentis. He just can't seem to locate it because it darts out of the zone.
Payoff pitch to Pone. Just got a piece, stuck his bat out and pushed it foul. Another pitch coming for Barentis.
Pone was definitely sitting on that curveball right there. Couldn't keep up with the fastball, just able to foul it off. Got to be careful here with all that breaking action on the mound.
He just sort of threw his bat at that baseball and was able to spoil it foul. 3-2. Down low, and that is a hard-worked walk for Nate Pone. And now Trajan Rogowski coming up. Got a mound visit here, first of the night for San Diego, as they want to talk things over before Rogowski and Sable come to plate. Want to get as many runs as you can, because you know that this San Diego team is feisty. They were up 5-0. Riptide came back to win 8-6, but this lead far from secure. Orange County a base runner away from loading up the bases. which would put an end to my bingo struggles. I think that they've done a good job of making it pretty gettable to get bingo, because you want to give away the free tickets. That's the deal. You get 2 free tickets to the ball game tomorrow. So if I can get there, are you planning to cash in your 2 free tickets, or are you just gonna celebrate your bingo?
I mean, if I could trade them, obviously we get free seats to every game. If I could trade them for 2 tickets to an Angels game, I'd do that. If we can make that work. Especially because I was the first to get a bingo, I think that I should get some sort of prize for that. But maybe free Chick-fil-A.
Okay.
I'd take that.
Yeah, that's a good call. I like free Chick-fil-A. That's a good one. So Rogowski, who's 1 for 2, a single and a flyout so far today. Now with runners on first and second, still just 1 out for Barentis, who fires a strike in there to get ahead 0-1.
I'm surprised they didn't pull him from the game, but it looks like the lefty that's in that Waves bullpen just needs a little bit more time to get loose.
0-1. Inside, kind of evens up at 1-1. And, for Rusty Huber, you're just trying to figure out how you can put together your hoping 27 outs. Riptide trying to make the Waves just need 24 today. You got to piece it together and hoping Rentis can get a couple more. It's a swing and a miss from Rogowski to get ahead 1-2. Did strike out Fitzpatrick looking. It's the only out that the right-hander's been able to get so far today. And after 3 quick innings that have scoreless baseball, slowed it down a little bit here in the 4th as the Riptide offense has gotten rolling. 1-2. This is inside. A bold take for Rogowski, given how Koppenberger's had a wide zone at times today. But it's ball, and it's a 2-2 count. Rentis checks the runner at second. That's Montgomery. Throws outside and gets the call there for strike 3. Rogowski hates it. Second strikeout of the inning. And a big second out. Now Jarrett Sable coming to the plate here for Orange County.
Well, both of Barentis' outs have come on strikeouts, which I guess if there's one net positive in the inning for him, it would be that.
Well, it's both been strikeouts looking that Fitzpatrick and Rogowski have not been a fan of. So maybe getting a little bit of help from Koppenberger behind the dish. So far with how the Riptide have been playing, Barentis needs a little bit of it. Now Sable, who hit one hard to right field last time up, came oh so close to his second home run of the season. Goes after the first pitch here. Sliding play from Anderson at second. Gets up and throws to first. That'll end the inning, but Orange County scores 3 runs. They lead it 3-0 after sending 8 men to the plate here in the bottom of the 4th. Top of the 5th inning is presented to you by Fairmont Schools in San Juan Capistrano. Orange County's got a 3-0 lead. So the Bats woke up in the bottom of the 4th. New pitcher on the mound is Zach Dindecker. Come in to face the bottom of the order for the Waves. Andreas Nielsen and Caleb Wagner for the leadoff man, Rusevich. 3 lefties in a row for Dindecker. His first pitch runs inside, 1-0 count. Tommy McGuire was awesome. Struggled with control a little bit. He walked 3 and hit a batter, but just 1 hit allowed, 3 strikeouts, and critically, no runs. 4 scoreless innings. Stendecker's behind in the count, 2-0. With the way the rules work here in the CCL, McGuire leaves this game in line for the win after the Riptide offense roared to life in the bottom of the frame. Here's the first strike of the day for Dindecker, 2-1 count.
Well, Dindecker, unfortunately, was not awesome in his last start. He took the loss up in Compton last Sunday against the Barons. He was the one that was pitching that 4-run second inning. Only 2 of the runs were earned, which is, I guess, good for him, but he's looking to find his form here today against the Waves. Always tough when you haven't pitched in over a week.
Well, and the key for Zach Dindecker, you got to limit the walks. He's walked 7 in 3 2/3 innings. He's behind in the count, 3-1 here. And there's ball 4. So a leadoff walk for Andreas Nielsen. And now Dindecker has walked 8 men, and he's only gotten 11 outs so far with the Riptide. That's not the ratio you want.
Well, he walked 2 in that 4-run inning against the Barons. Starts his outing here with a walk already, so there's 1 off those 2 that he had in his last outing. When you look at his stats at LMU, it's a little surprising he has all those walks. He had 23 sure for the Lions in 16 games, but he had 41 strikeouts, so he almost had twice the amount of Ks. But the fact that he isn't replicating that here in the CCL is a cause for concern.
Well, and the Waves have now led off 3 of their 5 innings today with 3 passes, and you know, that's really key. You can't give teams that opportunity. It makes it so easy for them to put up runs, put up big innings. The Riptide took advantage of the hit by pitch for Tiller, sparked the 3-run frame. As Wagner squares to bunt, pulls it back. It's a 1-1 count. Caleb Wagner singled to right field to lead off the 3rd inning. So he's part of 4 of the 5 hitters that have led off innings for San Diego have reached. But Wagner was doubled off on a line drive to the center fielder Rogowski, where he made a base running miscue. So trying to make up for it here, he pops the 1-1 way up in the air. Pone chases after it, runs all the way to the wall, but it bounces into the 2nd row, and it'll be a 1-2 count. Great hustle from Nate Pone there. He was just going pretty much full sprint, even as he ran into the wall with the netting and the padding behind home plate brace him a little bit, but definitely was giving all the effort he had. 1-2 count as Dindecker looks to get his first out of the day. Runner goes, pitches a ball, 3rd on to 2nd. Got him. Nate Pone couldn't get the pop-up. It was just into the seats, but he gets the out there on the caught stealing, sends Nielsen right back to the dugout.
That was just beautiful placement on the throw from Nate Pone. It's about as perfect as you can aim it, right there on the edge of the plate to tag the batter out before he can dive in safely.
Pitch misses up and away, 3-2, but what a play right there for Nate Pone, who has just been such a breath of fresh air for the Riptide. So many of these catchers have been playing great baseball. Cooper Klauser, who's off today, so the 3-2 misses the zone, so a 2nd straight walk there. So Wagner's able to work for the free pass. But Cooper Klauser, CCL Hitter of the Week, went 10 for 12, had 10 straight hits for the Riptide. He was unbelievable behind the plate. Sean Romero and Noah Neufeld have been great as well. So it's just been, I think the competition has been really healthy, and it's fostering the best out of all these catchers for the Riptide.
I disagree that it's competition. I'd say it's more camaraderie between the 4 of them because they have a scheduled rotation, and you know, sometimes they'll play in the DH spot like we'll see with Cooper Klauser if they're not catching that day. But I think it's more of a cohort of catchers that, you know, look out for each other. They're close out there with the rest of the team. And it's a good sign for the Riptide to have that kind of depth. That's the kind of depth that you want in a championship squad. And to have 4 solid catchers that can go out and perform in every single game, I think is something to be proud of.
Definitely crucial. Makes life easier for all the pitchers as well to have steady sets of hands behind the plate. And it wasn't just Klauser who received the honors. You also saw Sammy Kova, who threw 4 scoreless innings for the Riptide during last week, take home pitcher of the week. So Orange County swept both awards. Nice job for both Kova and Klauser. It's the 1-1 misses down. 2-1 count.
Well, Sam, today is a special day. Not only are the Riptide playing the Waves, but it's also the first round of the NBA draft. Your Cleveland Cavs just drafted. They took Alex Caravan from UConn. It's a great pick right there.
Well, you know what? I will trust your judgment, and I will be very excited. Who did Phoenix get in the first round?
We don't have a first-round pick.
Oh. 2-1 misses high. 3-1. Does your other team, the New York Knicks, the champion New York Knicks, I should say, do they have a first-round pick? Or?
We do. We drafted this Spanish guy, Sergio I can't remember his last name. I haven't heard too much about him, actually, so I'm intrigued to see what he does. But obviously, the Knicks' international draft process has worked out well with guys like Kristaps Porzingis.
3-1, flown into right center field. Rogowski's able to chase it down in the gap. It's the first time that Dindecker has not walked a batter so far, and he gets the out. So now 2 away. We've got Wagner on first with Virgo de Dios coming to the plate.
And that pickoff throw by Nate Pone out towards second for the caught stealing. Definitely coming into more play here because had that not happened, it would have been runners at first and second with nobody out. But to give Dindecker some confidence out there to pitch with an out on the board, so crucial because there's 2 now with that flyout.
Yeah, it makes everything so much easier. Pone doing a great job there behind the dish and helping his pitcher out, exactly what he's supposed to do. Really small lead for Wagner at first. He extends a little bit, but he's being held on by Tiller, wants no part of being picked off by Dindecker, who finds the strike zone to even up the count at 1-1. Virgo de Dios is 0 for 1 today. He was hit by McGuire during his last at-bat, also grounded back to Tommy on the mound, so this is his first time facing Dindecker. 1-1. Pitch miss is high. 2-1 count. I've talked to a lot of guys about going up in the Northwoods League and playing against the Portland Pickles. Zach Dindecker threw 16 innings with a 2.81 ERA for those Portland Pickles, who I've heard have quite the ballpark. It's the 2-1 misses inside 3-1. I know you got to experience San Luis Obispo's atmosphere, but I've heard the Pickles take it to a whole nother level.
I think you had a slip of the tongue. I think you said Northwoods League. It's the West Coast League, but I feel like everybody we've talked to that's played up there and has played a game in Portland said it's about as wild of a baseball experience as you can have.
3-1, runner goes. Pitch is a ball. The third down from Pone gets into the outfield, and that'll allow Wagner to move up to third. So Riptide had been playing clean defense. Pone had already thrown a runner out in the inning, but his throwing error there on a play where you couldn't even throw the runner out because Virgo de Dios had already walked means there will now be runners at the corners for Theo Kim.
Yeah, tough that from Pone. Just wanted to make sure, just in case it was a strike, that he was able to throw out the runner. But unfortunately, unlike his beauty of a throw that caught Nielsen, he wasn't able to get it on form to Fitzpatrick, or rather Barth, who was covering at second. And so because of that, what should be runners at first and second is now runners on the corners.
Big spot here for Dindecker. He deals with Theo Kim, dangerous hitter. First pitch sails high, 1-0. Kim, the only member of this San Diego team with a home run in the CCL this season. He's already driven home 4 runs for San Diego in 3 games, so not the guy you want to have up at the plate. He's 0 for 2 today, but he scorched a liner to Justin Tiller at first last time up. Hit hard, but right to Fitzpatrick on the ground. Bobbles it briefly, but throws to first in time. So Dindecker does work around the 3 walks to put up a 0. It'll be Avi Singh taking you the rest of the way. We're through 4.5, 3-0 Riptide.
Bottom of the 5th, this half inning brought to you by Rome Beer Company, the official brewery of the OC Riptide. Avi Singh alongside Sam Evans. It's Connor Barth who's leading off here against the new pitcher Matthew Garrison. Barth was the only Riptide to not bat back in the 4th inning when they struck for 3 runs as he swings and misses for an 0-2 count.
Yeah, Riptide offense just roared to life. Tiller, Curry, and Woodson, who are all batting behind Barth, scored runs. So Barth wants to get in on the party here and reach.
As he lifts the ball from Garrison on an 0-2 out towards left field. It drops into the glove of Wagner, who had to reach up over his head to make the catch. So there's the first out here in the bottom of the 5th inning as Barth is retired on an F7.
Yeah, I'm not sure Wagner got the best jump on that baseball. It was sort of drifting horizontally before he realized that he had to gain depth and able to chase that one down. Difficult play there, but 1 out nonetheless.
Here's the Texas A&M Aggie Justin Tiller, who kicked off that last inning with a hit by pitch to reach base safely. He swings at the first pitch he sees from the lefty Garrison and plummets this one into the air. And it stays high up for the center fielder Valdivia, who makes the catch for a quick second out.
Garrison's working quickly and effectively so far after the long inning for Barentis when he gave up 3 runs. Much more effective with the new lefty on the mound.
Pair of flyouts for Matthew Garrison to start his outing with Travis Curry up to bat. Certainly better than the disastrous outing it was for Barentis. As Curry takes a strike outside, an inning of work for Barentis. 3 hits, 3 runs, a walk in 2 strikeouts. But, of course, the big story, those 3 runs on the board and the 8 Riptide batters that came up to bat. As Curry takes a pitch outside, this time it's a ball.
Well, sort of a similar situation for Garrison against the Santa Barbara Foresters. Last time out, he only worked an inning, 2 hits, 3 runs, 2 walks, and 3 strikeouts.
Right down Broadway for strike 2. That's a pitch that Curry wants back for sure. Didn't even lift the bat that time.
Sometimes you're just fooled.
Garrison 1 pitch away from a 1-2-3 out inning. He can't get it there on the fastball outside. It's a 2-2 count to Travis Curry, who's 1 for 1 on the day with a single and a stolen base, who's hit by a pitch as well back in the 2nd. And he takes outside once again and forces the count full. So a much better at bat here for Travis Curry than for both Barth and Tiller, who hit out on 2 quick pop-ups.
Curry was teammates with Tiller at Cypress, but he's moving to Cal State Northridge in the fall.
He swings and misses at the 3-2, right on the outer edge of the strike zone, and that's how the inning ends. 3 up, 3 down for Matthew Garrison in his first relief outing. Score stays 3-0 Riptide as we head to the top of the 6th. Top of the 6th inning, 3-0 Riptide. New pitcher on the mound is the Submarine Southpaw, Chris Canavan.
Top of the 6th inning is brought to you by Sign Design.
Yes, it is.
You got to design those signs. They get the stuff behind home plate that looks pretty good.
Caden Anderson leads things off. Evan Schick, Owen Baxter following him. What sign would you design if you wanted some sort of support sign for the Riptide in the crowd?
I would design a sign where Dylan Orr is mining in Minecraft for ore.
I like that.
I hope that gets back to Dylan.
As Canvan fires a fastball upstairs to start his outing. 6th appearance of the season for Chris Canavan. He's had plenty of appearances out there for Brian Evans. A 5.40 ERA in 5 innings of work. 3 walks to 3 strikeouts. As he heaves the 1-0 home, it catches the inside corner for strike 1. And in his last outing, unfortunately for Canavan, he broke the scoreless streak that the Riptide pitchers had against the Conejo Oaks last Friday. He gave up 2 runs in the inning that he pitched.
And only 2 runs the Riptide allowed in that game. 12-2 win.
As he gets Anderson to swing out of his shoes.
Anderson's the beer batter, so Canavan's looking to give the fans some discounted beverages. Beer batter ends after the 7th inning, so potentially the last chance for those discounted brews. Hopefully Canavan can go get Anderson right here.
Well, Anderson's an athletic guy. He played in 4 sports total in high school. You want to get him out of here. 1-2 from Canavan. Chopped back foul by Anderson. Those 4 sports, obviously baseball the first one, basketball, football, and tennis.
Oh, I always like a guy who played tennis in high school. So it's my high school sport of choice.
Can we consider broadcasting a sport? Sport of the voice?
I don't think so. I wouldn't give broadcasting a sport. We sit down all day long. I feel like if you're sitting down the whole time, it can't be.
I feel like I treat it like my sport, so I'll consider it my sport.
That's fair.
As Canavan fires the 1-2 and misses outside. No surprise, though, that Anderson played 4 sports. He comes from an athletic family. And his dad, Tom, played baseball at Buena Vista University in Iowa. And so, of course, Anderson himself is an Iowa native. On a San Diego team that has plenty of Iowans.
A lot of corn in Iowa.
2-2. Chopped back foul weekly. Corn, of course, another theme among these players. Mikey Valdivia of the Waves is from Elkhorn, Nebraska. We were talking about the amount of corn that you see driving through Nebraska earlier.
Yeah, someone who's done a couple cross-country road trips. The Iowa, Nebraska, Kansas days are corn, 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 and more corn.
2-2. Bat goes flying out towards the third base coach. It's a goofy strikeout that time from Caden Anderson.
That is how you record a strikeout. Chris Canavan. That baseball bat flew a good 130 feet, got out of the infield, but critically the baseball did not. What a way to get your first K of the day.
Cartoonish K from Caden Anderson. That brings up Evan Schick with 1 out, nobody on.
You know, Chris Canavan from SDSU, they say that once you go to SDSU, you are an Aztec for life. But he's a rare guy in this transfer portal era. Has pitched there the last 3 years, not in the transfer portal now, so he'll be going back for a 4th year. He truly is an Aztec for life.
As he misses outside to Schick. You grew up an SDSU fan, but obviously you ended up going to Syracuse for your college.
I did, but I hold a soft spot in my heart for the Aztecs. You know, family had season tickets, still do actually, to SDSU football, so I was at a game in the fall. Yeah, it's a good time.
As Canavan fires the 1-0, he misses outside to Schick, who's 0 for 2 on the day with a pair of flyouts. You know, I got to go to Snapdragon Stadium where SDSU plays a few weeks ago to go watch an international friendly World Cup tune-up game between Switzerland and Australia, and I have to say it's a beautiful stadium. Whoever designed it did a great job, and I haven't been there so far for a football game, but I can tell it's a great environment there.
Yeah, it's a really fun time. My mom likes to get angry because a lot of the SDSU fans will leave early, especially if it's a late-night game on a Friday or Saturday. The students will depart early to go and do whatever they may will with a Saturday night in college. But I really like the football field. It's a great place to watch a game.
2-1, the count here to Evan Schick. It's the second game all season in the CCL for the Waves, both of them here at Great Park against the Riptide. As he takes a pitch inside from Canavan and moves to a 3-1 count.
Yeah, I used to go to STSU games back when they played at Qualcomm, where the Chargers played while they were in San Diego. So a little bit bigger. It was really cool. They had the metal seats that you could bang on and get really loud on third down. I was a big fan of that when I was younger.
Old Jack Murphy Stadium, the house that Tony Gwynn built. As Schick swings and misses at a 3-1. Good bounce back from Canavan to make the count full.
I do have to say, as a San Diegan, Petco's where Tony Gwynn built, because Jack Murphy and Qualcomm was before Tony started playing baseball.
That is not true at all.
Yes, it is.
Tony Gwynn?
Well, Tony
Gwynn Sr.?
Yeah, he was.
No, Tony Gwynn Sr. played at Jack Murphy Stadium. What are we talking about?
Right, but he didn't. That's strike three. He didn't build that stadium. It existed. The Padres had been playing there since the 60s. The house that someone builds is the stadium they build. You can't build a house before you started playing
Yes,
baseball.
you can, and I'll tell you why in a second. Schick went down swinging, back-to-back strikeouts for Canavan. It's Owen Baxter, the birthday boy, with 2 outs. Old Yankee Stadium is called the house that Ruth built. Babe Ruth actively played in Yankee Stadium and built the house himself. New Yankee Stadium is called the house that Jeter built. Jeter actively played there and built the house himself.
Right, but Jeter played in Old Yankee before it was New
Yeah,
Yankee.
but Old Yankee Stadium, as Baxter takes strike one outside, is not called the house that Jeter built. It's called the house that Ruth built.
Right, exactly. I was like, Petco Park, the new stadium.
It's the house that Fernando Tatis built.
No.
Because he's building it right now, yes.
The house has been built. Tony Gwynn said, "Welcome home, Padres fans."
As Baxter pops this one up in the air out towards short. Caught by Barth for out number 3. Sam Evans and I will continue debating this during the break. 3-0, the Riptide lead. Bottom of the 6th, this half inning brought to you by Russell Legal Group and Riptide owner Craig Russell. I'll be singing alongside Sam Evans. We finally settled our debate about Petco Park, and we'll let bygones be bygones. Zach Woodson leads things off against the new pitcher in former Riptide Sean Cannon, who's out for his revenge outing here with the San Diego Waves.
Well, Cannon's got a cannon of an arm. high velocity on the fastball. Only played in 2 games for the Riptide last summer. He allowed 1 run in 4 innings.
We saw it on that throw right there. Feels like he shifted his entire momentum backwards and then launched it all through his arm. A fastball that missed well below the zone. We'll see if you can find his location on that heater. Unable to do so there. And it sort of reminds you almost of another former Riptide pitcher who we'll see next week in Jack O'Malley. Just guys that go out there and pump the fastball, and whether or not they miss is up to the baseball gods at that point. As Cannon gets Woodson to whiff on the pitch. Interesting story, Sean Cannon. Started his career at St. Mary's. He had a good run there with the Gales, 12 games as a freshman, a 3.57 ERA, but then for some reason he decides to leave St. Mary's and go to Chabot College. Not every day you see guys succeed at the D1 level and then go to the JUCO route, but I guess for Cannon it worked out better for him.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting world, whole new world with the transfer portal, and guys are able to make a lot of different choices and get to experience new things. It's 3rd different team that Sean Cannon's played for here in the CCL. He played 2 innings for the Slow Blues in 2024.
As he misses outside to Woodson, it's a full count. He actually pitched worse at Chabot College than he did at St. Mary's. 12 games at St. Mary's, 3.57 ERA in 17.2 innings. 11 games for Chabot, 4.28 in 27 innings.
Baseball.
As he heaves the full count home, Woodson hits it out past the glove of Cannon. It rolls out to Anderson, and second throw to first is in time for the first out here in the bottom of the 6th inning.
More nice plays from Caden Anderson.
As he retires Zach Woodson for the first time today.
Yeah, Woodson, a couple of duck snorts into the outfield for base hits, but not able to sneak that grounder through, as Omaha's been doing a great job all night. She continues her hot streak by getting another baseball bat.
As Dennis Fitzpatrick steps up, he's 0 for 2 on the night. I was talking to Aiden Pham about this. It feels like Omaha has been very consistent at her job this season, which has been great to see. Sometimes she struggled a little bit last season, but it's good to see her find her form here in 2026.
Yeah, she's really improved. I'm very impressed.
As Fitzpatrick takes a strike on the outside edge.
Maybe she should play in the CCL All-Star game in Reno. She'd retrieve bats.
I was going to say, I would be excited for the next at-bat because it would be a battle of former teammates between Sean Cannon and Reed Montgomery as Fitzpatrick swings and misses at the 0-1 outside. But Tatum Marsh is on deck as a pinch hitter for Montgomery, so unfortunately we're not going to see the Riptide on Riptide action there. Oh, 2 here to Fitzpatrick. Takes a bounce in the dirt, a wild pitch.
Yeah, Fitzpatrick yet to do anything but strike out so far today. Ironically, had he swung and missed at that one, probably would have reached first base on the drop third strike, but shows good plate discipline instead and continues the AB.
Well, even if he did, he'd have 3 strikeouts to his resume, which is probably not what he's looking for here. As he takes the 1-2 down low, it's a 2-2 count. So we were talking about the NBA draft earlier, right? Cavs made their pick. Phoenix Suns traded up into the first round with the Dallas Mavericks. Very last pick of the first round. They took Koa Pete out of Arizona. It's a funny story for me because Koa Pete went to a school in Gilbert called Perry High School. As Cannon misses outside, it's a full count. That's where Brock Purdy played in high school. Cody Williams and Jalen Williams of the Thunder played there in high school. Koa Pete played there in high school, too. My school, Brophy Prep in Phoenix, were rivals with Perry basketball-wise. We had a great program, but every year we'd play Koa Pete, and he beat us in the playoffs. As this pitch misses inside, Fitzpatrick reaches for the first time today on a 1-out walk. But Koa Pete would beat us every year, so I didn't really like the guy because I'd call our high school basketball games as Tatum Marsh steps up to the plate and pinch hits for Reed Montgomery. And then he goes to the University of Arizona, and I grew up an ASU fan. Obviously, I'm at USC now. My brother goes to ASU, so he's still a Sun Devils fan, so we're still rooting against Koa Pete. And then he gets drafted by my hometown basketball team, so I guess now I'm obligated to root for the guy.
It is funny how those things work out sometimes.
As Tatum Marsh steps in, and the Stanford Cardinal takes a strike.
I think of, for me, Mason Graham was it Michigan, and got drafted by the Cleveland Browns. And obviously, Michigan not too popular among the Ohio State contingent. So that's one that I remember he said, "Go Blue," with a bunch of kids around him for training camp, and they all booed him. So that was really funny.
As the 0-1 misses. Oh, no, that's a strike right there on the edge. So it's an 0-2 count. And again, we've seen the strike zone vary from Joshua Koppenbaker tonight.
Yeah, that pitch did not feel like it was in the strike zone, but Tatum Marsh is getting a taste of what it's been like all night long. He's been on the bench, but didn't have to wait long to have a tough call go against him.
So as Cannon threw over to first, somehow it's an 0-2 count to Tatum Marsh, who's out here in his third CCL game with the Riptide as a pinch hitter for Reed Montgomery. Of course, Reed had that 2 RBI double in the 4th inning that gave the Riptide a 3-0 lead as Marsh goes down looking.
It has not been the easiest for Riptide bats at the plate, dealing with a zone that's grown and constricted throughout this game. Pinch hitter Marsh goes looking, but up 3-0, only allowed 1 hit in 6 innings to the Waves, so doing a good job on the pitching side of things. The offense has been a little bit slow for the 2nd straight game.
So here's Nate Pone, who's 0 for 1 with a walk. He takes a curveball that darts inside for ball 1. Pone's a short guy out there. He's only 5'8", which is technically the average height, but in the world of athletics is considered small. So I find his batting stance interesting because he lifts that bat up and sort of waggles his hands to keep the motion. Obviously, he doesn't have as much power as guys that are taller than him, so the waggle of the bat is a good way to generate some power by keeping your momentum up.
On that walk you were talking about, one of the hardest fought walks that we've seen from a Riptide player all season long. Great stuff from Nate.
Cannon takes a breath and throws to first. He gets Fitzpatrick, who is caught lacking over at first base. And that's how the inning comes to a close. So Nate Pone will get his at-bat, but he'll get it the next time the Riptide hit in the bottom of the 7th. First, we head to the top of the inning, 3-0 Orange County. Top of the 7th inning, new pitcher is Jack Wade. The CCL's biggest event of the summer is coming to Reno, Nevada on Saturday, July 4th. The 2026 CCL All-Star Game will bring together the league's top players and future professional prospects at Greater Nevada Field, home of the Reno Aces. Following the game, fans will enjoy a spectacular fireworks show as part of the America 250 celebration. To purchase tickets and learn more, visit calsummerball.com. Plenty of fireworks after the game in Reno. We hope to see some fireworks tonight on the mound from Jack Wade.
Yeah, hopefully he can continue to pitch well. Wasn't the best outing for Wade last time out. Gave up 2 runs that were earned, 3 total in an inning against the Arroyo Seco Saints. But Those are the only runs he's given up all summer. So he can get back to throwing up some scoreless outings right here.
Mikey Valdivia leads things off for the Waves, followed by Nielsen and Wagner. As Valdivia chops this ball foul. And that's the first pitch of the day from Jack Wade. 3.60 ERA through 4 games. He's out here for his 5th. 5 innings of work for Wade. Just 2 hits given up all season. 3 runs, only 2 earned. 7 strikeouts on the year for the former Husky Jack Wade. As he gets the whiff there from Valdivia, it's an 0-2 count. Former Husky, of course, he pitched this last season at Washington. Ended up going into the transfer portal. He'll be heading south to Utah. And will play at Utah Valley next season. 0-2. Hit out hard past the glove of Fitzpatrick over at second for a leadoff single for Mikey Valdivia.
Just the second base hit of the game for the Waves. These have not been smooth sailing so far for San Diego, but got the leadoff man on for the 5th time today. So that's been at least a bright spot for the Waves.
Riptide out hitting the Waves 6-2 here in the 7th. Have about half as many runs as they do hits. The 6 hits, 3 runs on the board for the Riptide. Here's the pinch hitter, Brady Leubin. He comes in for Andreas Nielsen and fouls the first pitch he sees back. Nielsen came into the game batting .500, but he was 0 for 1 on the night with a strikeout. Reached on a walk in the 5th, and then was gunned down on a great throw behind the dish by Nate Pone.
Lubin does not have a hit yet this summer for San Diego.
Only played in 1 game of the 3 CCL games the Waves have played so far, as he skies this ball into the air out towards right field, hustling in from right as Sable. His hat falls off, but he makes the catch for the first out here in the top of the 7th.
Nice hustle right there from Jarrett in right. Had to cover a lot of ground and makes the play, which is the real key.
We'll have another pinch hitter here for the Waves. Caleb Wagner was due up. San Diego opts not to send the lefty bat out against the southpaw Wade, so Michael Hollis will come up to bat for the Waves. He'll take the first pitch he sees low and inside from Wade.
Hollis was at Golden West College, but he's in the transfer portal now.
Like so many of these CCL players, an opportunity to show off for the scouts as Wade fires almost to first. Almost gets the pick off from Valdivia, who was able to slide in. Hollis has played in 2 games here in the CCL. Out for his 3rd as a pinch hitter as he checks his swing on what was a strike anyways on the outer edge of the zone for Wade.
The offense has been pretty much non-existent for Rusty Huber. Why not make some changes and see if you can freshen things up a little bit?
So sort of the opposite we saw the last time these 2 teams played. It was the Waves who had things going offensively as Pone gets another beauty of a throw to second for out number 2. What a night for Nathan Pone behind the dish.
Well, the Riptide audio team just threw up the "Why are you running?" famous content. And exactly right. Why are you running on Nate Pone? Got a hose for an arm. He just threw out Valdivia.
And again, the depth of these 4 catchers in rotation for the Riptide feels like all 4 of them bring something to the table. As Pone takes low, it's a 3-1 count.
Pone is just such a great presence. He's a nice guy, a smiley guy who brings good energy, and when you're doing that and making good plays, you'll hang around a long time.
3-1 to Hollis, misses inside, so he's aboard with a 2-out walk, and hold your horses, they call it a strike. Hollis thought it was inside. I thought it was inside, too.
Yeah, that call came about a business day late from Koppenberger behind the plate, but it's a strike.
So Hollis probably frustrated, has to stay in the plate for the 3-2 count, and he swings and misses. It's a strikeout for Jack Wade. Solid inning of work out of the pen for the new Utah Valley man, Jack Wade. Still no runs for the Waves, but they get their 2nd hit of the ball game. It's time to stretch and sing along to take me out to the ball game as we head to the middle of the 7th. Bottom of the 7th, 3-0 Riptide. Casey Regala, the new pitcher. Sam Evans, familiar with him. We'll get to that why in a second. As Pone lays down a bunt on the first pitch he sees and fouls it back. Pone, Rogowski, Sable due up for the Riptide, barring any changes. Sam Evans, why do you know Casey Regala?
Well, we went to high school together. Bonita Vista High School, the Barons. Casey was obviously a more talented athlete than I was, so he was playing baseball. But was at Southwestern, which is the community college that's right across the street from Bonita Vista High School, and the last 2 years moved over to the Ottawa University of Arizona for this last season, and now pitching here for the Waves in the CCL.
He's talented enough to make a CCL roster, so here he is with the Waves as he misses way inside on the breaking ball to Pone. It's a 1-1 count. Pone 0 for 1. He grounded out, but he reached on a walk in the 4th inning. He was up at bat at the end of the 6th inning. Dennis Fitzpatrick was caught lacking at first as Pone smacks this one into left field for a base hit. A leadoff single for Nate Pone, first hit of the day, and what a day it's been for Pone.
Yeah, already thrown out 2 runners, had the walk, and now the base hit. Nate Pone is just doing everything for the Riptide tonight.
So Pone's made it count here in his rotational spot as the Riptide catcher today, and I'll flip the lineup over to Trajan Rogowski.
On Pone, for a catcher especially, can run. Would not be surprised to see him try to swipe a bag and get into scoring position here for the top of the order.
As Rogowski takes a curveball right down Broadway for strike 1. Pone's an interesting guy, 5'8", as we mentioned. Really not the kind of build you'd expect from a catcher with that short stature, but again, the speed totally makes up for that on the base bats when it gets on.
He can move.
As Regala fires the 0-1, Rogowski lifts it out towards right field. It's playable for the right fielder, Rusevic, who makes the catch for the first out here in the bottom of the 7th inning. A great catch in foul territory from the Chicago native Rusevic.
Yeah, nice job being aware of the fence. There's not a ton of foul territory, maybe 8 feet down the right field line, but that ball was in that foul territory, and Rusevic able to chase it down.
So here's Jarrett Sable. They're off to work with 1 out now and Pone over at first. 1 for 2 on the day. He doubled back in the 3rd inning. Or rather, 1 for 3. As he takes outside, it's 1-0. Pop-up, double, and then ground out in his last at-bat all the way back in the 4th.
That double was hit so hard, it should count as 2 hits. He scorched that one.
I said it earlier, at any other ballpark, it probably would have been out of here, but the height of these fences in the outfield here at Great Park beg to defer as Sable takes a strike outside. It's 1-1.
You know, not to be a crabby old man, but I'm not a fan of the high fences. Robbed home runs are cool. Like let's have that everywhere. Like, there shouldn't be a fence higher than like 6 feet unless it's, a great monster type thing where it's, something that's cool in itself.
This pitch gets completely away from Regala. A mistake in front of the plate. Didn't even get home. And because of that, Pone reaches safely over at second.
Pone was thinking about trying to go to third. He took a big turn at second base, but stays put at second. Get the man in scoring position for Sable, who leads the Riptide with 10 RBIs.
So there's some added help here for Jarrett, with Pone now in scoring position. Riptide 2 for 8 tonight with runners in scoring position. As Sable takes a whiff at the 2-1, he wanted that one.
He was going after that one a little bit. Felt like he had to swing a little bit extra since the double didn't get over the fence and couldn't quite launch it.
Two swing and a miss from Sable. So back-to-back swings from Sable result in a strikeout. First strikeout for Regala out of the bullpen. Second out here in the bottom of the 7th.
Barth trying to come through here for the Riptide with runner in scoring position, 2 outs. Only 2 hits all day for San Diego, but that offense can come to life in a hurry. You want to make sure you have as big of a lead as possible. Love to make it a 4-0 game instead of a 3-0 one.
We'll see what Barth can do. He's ahead 1-0 in the count. Had a decent stretch at the plate throughout last week, especially on Saturday when he had a pair of RBI doubles. As he takes a strike outside, it's 1-1.
That was up on the road trip to Slow. Only time the Riptide had to leave the Great Park last week. They'll have 2 this week, heading to Compton on Thursday and up to Ventura to take on the Conejo Oaks on Saturday.
As Barth is almost clipped on a pitch inside, he has to move away. It's 2-1. Connor Barth from Folsom Lake College, the Riptide teammate Trajan Rogowski. 2 of them going their separate ways. Rogowski heading to UConn, Barth heading to South Carolina upstate. He checks his swing on the 2-1, and it's a called strike behind the plate from Koppenbarger. So an even count here for Connor Barth with 2 outs and Pone over at second. Plenty of 2s out here in Great Park. Payoff pitch, swing and a miss. Back-to-back strikeouts for Casey Regala. That's how the inning comes to a close. Nate Pone reaches with a leadoff single, gets over to second, but the Riptide can't bring him in. Because of that, it's still 3-0. Waves up to bat in the 8th. 6 outs left for San Diego before loss number 2 to the Riptide. Top of the 8th inning, Waves down 3-0. Jack Wade still the pitcher for Orange County. Because of the deficit, San Diego will make a change. Kareem Arusevic is off. Sam Tucci, the pinch hitter for him, leads things off. He swings at the first pitch he sees and gives a dribbler out towards Bart. That's short. Speed of Tucci beats out the throw, however. It's a leadoff single for the pinch hitter, Sam Tucci. And again, that's why you got to get that ball out of your glove as quickly as you can.
Yeah, nice hustle from Tucci, just beating it down the line. No chance, really, for Barth. A lead man reaches for San Diego yet again. Only in the 2nd inning and the 5th inning of this game. It's the first man not reached. Oh, and the 6th, pardon me. So 3 of the 8 innings so far.
There's David Vergelde Dios. He checks his swing, but it's a cold strike anyway, says Koppenbarger. Tucci, who was 0 for 2 against the Riptide in the last game, finally gets a hit against Orange County there with a pinch hit single. Vergelde Dios himself does not have a hit on the day. He's 0 for 1, but he's reached base twice as he swings and misses. It's an 0-2 count. Hit by a pitch in the 3rd, walked in the 5th.
Tucci plays outfield, so he can slot in right for Rusevich and play out in right field.
Has plenty of speed on the base paths. Tiller's ready for that pickoff at any time. Instead, Wade fires home and misses low to Pone. Wade sort of squatted down on the mound, looked like he wanted that pitch back.
Especially with the lefty on the mound. Wade, Pone's already thrown out 2 runners. not an environment that's conducive to base stealing if you're Tucci on first.
1-2 to Vergel de Dios. Swing and a miss. Chases at an outside fastball. Another strikeout for Jack Wade, his second here tonight.
Take you around the CCL. The Caneo Oaks beat the Philippines 15-9. Santa Barbara squeaked one out 2-1 over the Academy Barons. Oreo Sekou Saints blew out the San Diego Bombers 9-1. Over in the North Division, San Luis Obispo's a couple outs away from finishing off a 9-1 win against Alameda. San Francisco and Menlo Park have played a crazy one. It's 14-11. The Seagulls lead in the top of the 8th. And, of course, right here at the Great Park in Irvine, the Riptide lead 3-0 over the San Diego Waves.
Theo Kim is the man to bat, and switch hitter bats from the right side for the first time today. Lift at the first pitch you saw from Wade, who steps off and throws over to Tiller at first. Philippines lost, no surprise. They're 0-9. Riptide will see them for the first time on Sunday. But how about the Barons? They've gotten the best of the Riptide in 2 of the 3 meetings against them and almost beat a Santa Barbara squad that only has 1 loss, which is, of course, 2 Orange County. As Wade misses outside, it's an even count.
Yeah, there's a lot of good teams in this league. It really feels like on any given night, anyone can beat anyone. You know, obviously the Bombers 1-7 coming to town tomorrow. The Philippines, who are winless, coming on Sunday. But those are not easy wins. You're going to have to take care of business if you want to win those ball games.
City Lights shut off in Irvine. Pitch goes in the dirt. Pone blocks it. It's a 2-1 count. I feel like every time those lights go off, the environment here just becomes elevated because the distraction in the background is out. The sole focus here is on the baseball.
You know, it makes it a little bit harder to see those fly balls to the deep corners of the outfield. So it makes me a little bit sad, too, because it always means the baseball game's about to end, and that's a bummer.
2-1, misses outside, and Wade needs to find his form here, down 3-1 of the count. Theo Kim, a dangerous hitter. You don't want to give him a mistake when you're down in the count. We'll see if Wade can locate the 3-1. Here he's able to do so as Kim whiffs at it. It's a full count.
That was a good pitch. Up and in fastball. Exactly how you make it difficult for a power hitter like Kim. Bust him inside. Can't get the arms extended. Everything gets a lot harder.
Tucci over at first. 3-2 the count to the UC Irvine anteater Theo Kim. He smacks this ball out into left center field. Rogowski has to give chase out to his left. He makes the catch. Good speed for Rogowski to get to that baseball on a liner. There's the second out of the inning.
Trajan's been showing off in center field all day long. Nice job there covering some ground. Had the line drive double play he turned earlier. So doing great work all around the ballpark today.
So Kim, the anteater, won't be chanting zot, zot, zot as he heads to his dugout. And Caden Anderson comes up to bat with 2 outs. He takes the first pitch he sees low for ball 1. I have to say, I think out of most of the collegiate sayings out there, I think zot, zot, zot has to be one of the most interesting because it's not something you think about when you think about anteaters, but apparently it's supposed to replicate the sound that they make when their tongues go out to get the ants.
That is the story I have been told by my dad, and I'm sticking to it.
Craig Russell, our owner, is a UC Irvine alum. He probably knows the story behind the zot, zot, zot. As Anderson zot, zot, zots at that pitch on a whiff, it's a 1-2 count.
How much do you think everyone would hate me if when Craig asked if there's anything else at the meeting, I raised my hand and was like, oh, Craig, we've all been wondering about this all day, and made everyone stay an extra minute at the meeting?
Good question. Up for you to find out.
You know, I think I will pass. I'd like to not be public enemy number 1 among the Riptide interns.
What if you already are?
No, I know who is. I can't say, though.
He who must not be named.
He or she who must not be named.
They who must not be named.
Exactly.
2-2. Hit out in the air, out towards left center. That's going to drop for a base hit, so the Waves have some life here in the 8th with 2 outs. It's runners in scoring position. Tucci halts himself at third. Anderson in standing with a double. It's the first extra base hit of the day and the third all night for the Waves.
You know, that's on us. We're having a little bit too much fun in the booth. Got into cruise control a little bit, and boom, ball in the gap. Got the tying run at the plate. Couple runners in scoring position. Pinch hitter here as John Yucatil comes to the plate.
Aiden Pham, by the way. We're talking about Aiden Pham, and I can say that as his friend.
Oh, of course. That is, yes, absolutely that's who we're talking about.
And I can only say that because I'm his friend. As Wade misses outside, it's a 1-0 count. Yucatil was a menace against the Riptide in that first game. 2 for 4 with a pair of RBIs. But he started off on the bench today for San Diego. And a big opportunity here with runners in scoring position and 2 outs. He lines it to the glove of Fitzpatrick, catches it on a hop, throw it a first in time for out number 3. Job well done for Jack Wade. Leaves runners in scoring position and leaves the Waves with a big fat 0 on the scoreboard. Riptide up to bat for what could be the last time when we head to the bottom of the 8th. Bottom of the 8th inning. New pitcher for the Waves is Joshu Sayer. Justin Tiller leads things off for Orange County. Riptide up 3-0, trying to get some insurance here on the board before heading to the 9th to close things out. First pitch from Sayer is a swing and a miss from Tiller on a fastball from Sayer. It's an 0-1 count. Sam Evans, any defensive changes out there that you spotted with your handy-dandy binoculars?
You know, I'm working on, I think Mikey Valdivia has moved from center to third.
As Tiller crushes this pitch, right field, way high and back, it is out of here! Solo home run for Justin Tiller. Second Riptide homer at Great Park this season. He's finally found his power. There's the insurance the Riptide were looking for. It's 4-0 in the 8th.
It has been coming for Justin Tiller. And there's the extra base hit. You've been talking about it. That's 2 home runs the Riptide have hit against these Waves. Unleashed on one to deep right field. He was so close on that foul ball earlier. Great to see Justin send one over the fence.
Finally get the pleasure of calling a home run at Great Park. Thank you, Justin Tiller. The Riptide will say thank you as well. Their lead now 4-0 as Travis Curry stares at a first pitch outside from Sayer. Tough for Sayer, too. He came into the game without allowing a run in his solo inning of work here in the CCL, and the first batter he sees takes some yard. Seems to have lost his form out there, too. Back-to-back misses after the homer from Justin Tiller. Able to clip the zone there. It's a 2-1 count.
You know, I'm not going to lie to you, Avi. I am doing everything I can, but I just cannot see these numbers. The black and dark blue number jersey combination does not make things easy to see who's in certain positions, especially when they won't turn around.
Yeah, when in doubt, blame the jersey as Curry swings and misses. It's a 2-2 count. I have to say these San Diego teams always bring the drip because with the Bombers we saw 4 different uniforms. Last time we saw the Waves, they had the Chicago Cub-looking blue jerseys with the red numbers, and now they have the black with the navy numbers, which unfortunately for us is a nightmare to spot number-wise as Curry fouls the pitch back. We'll see if they call this a live ball. He's over at first. This is either a foul tip strikeout that gets away and allows Curry to reach, and that is exactly what it is. So it is a live play. Curry reaches first. And I'll bring up Zach Woodson.
It's not often you get to reach on the strikeout, but Curry does try to take advantage here.
Woodson's had himself a great day at the plate. A 2-hit game for Zach Woodson. As he smacks this ball out towards right field, it's a base hit. 3 hits on the day for Woodson. Curry hustles over to third. He's in there sliding. Close play, but he just beats it. Runners on the corners with no outs here for the Riptide in the bottom of the 8th. What a day it's been for Zach Woodson, who's finally found his form at the plate.
Great to see Zach get going. Talked about it a little bit earlier coming in that he had been 2 for 20 to start the summer, but 3 for 4 today. Had a couple of good games the previous few days, so getting that batting average up a little bit higher, that's great to see. And I do have, finally, those defensive changes. So Mikey Valdivia has moved from center to third. John Yucatil is in center, and Sam Tucci is in right. I think. 95% sure.
I trust you. As the Riptide trusts Dennis Fitzpatrick, who's at the plate. He's 0 for 2 on the night. He walked in his last plate appearance, and he gets the opportunity to stay in the game with runners on the corners and nobody out as he checks his swing on a pitch outside. You can see it on your screen. This infield playing shallow here from the Waves. Making sure there's no bunt opportunity from Fitzpatrick with no outs. He smacks this ball right into the glove at third base. Throw to second is in time for 1. Throw to first for 2. So it's a double play for the Waves as Travis Curry comes home to score. 5-0 now the Riptide lead. They'll trade 2 for a run.
Yeah, nice job there from Curry at third. Recognized that ball was hit hard right to Valdivia, who's taken over at third base, and probably could have been thrown out at the plate with the infield in had he not hesitated. But once the throw was made to second, he ran home and able to score easily, extend that lead.
Here's Marsh, who came in to pinch hit for Reed Montgomery back in the 6th and struck out. And he starts his at-bat with strike 1 outside. I thought for a second that it was a true line-out to third for Fitzpatrick. Instead, it ended up being a double play. As there's a pop-up out towards second. It falls into the glove of Anderson for the 3rd out. But the Riptide strike for 2 here in the bottom of the 8th, including the solo home run from Justin Tiller, his first of the season. 5-0 Riptide, closing time when we head to the top of the 9th. Top of the ninth inning, Jackson Pace gets the nod to end this ball game. Not a safe situation with the 2 insurance runs that came across for the Riptide, but obviously they'd rather try and get these last 3 outs, up by 5 than by 3. Owen Baxter, Mikey Valdivia due up for the Waves, as is Brady Lubin, who pinch hit back in the 7th inning. It's the birthday boy, Owen Baxter, who leads things off. Hasn't been the best birthday for him on the baseball diamond so far. 0 for 3, a strikeout, a flyout, and a pop-out.
You know, up 5-0. I'm okay with Baxter reaching base here. I think he deserves a birthday present.
I think the best birthday present he can get is getting to go home to San Diego as Pace fires outside. It's a 1-0 count.
It is America's finest city, so good for Owen.
Pace misses outside again. It's 2-0. This is not the America's finest jersey team, however. It's Scott Stanley's Bombers, who have that red jersey with America's finest on the front. Waves settle for just the Waves. They're okay with their team name.
Oh, I hope we get to see the America's finest tomorrow when the Bombers and Scott Stanley come back here.
2-0. Just misses outside on the breaking ball. It's a 3-0 count. I have to say the red on red is a bit of an eyesore. I do like their baby blue jerseys that they brought the 3rd time they played us. Those were nice.
Those were good. They had an all-black look, didn't they?
They did.
That was good.
3-0. Misses outside, so it's a 4-pitch walk for Owen Baxter, and the birthday boy gets his present.
Yeah, you know, that's well-deserved for Owen. He's been working hard behind the plate all day long, and hopefully at least has something to smile about. And, you know, a ton of credit to this Riptide team. 7-2 at home, hoping to make it.
It's an 0-1 count. The best teams win the games that they're supposed to, and I'd say the Riptide have done that so far.
Yeah, only 1 loss right now to a team with a losing record. Arroyo Seco's 4-9. Orange County's 2-1 against the Saints this summer.
A 1 from Pace. He gets Valdivia to chop it back. It's an 0-2 count. Valdivia's reached twice today. Walked in the 2nd, singled in the 7th. Struck out in his other plate appearance. The Elkhorn, Nebraska native. 0-2. Fastball misses high and outside.
Yeah, having a change from center field to third, definitely a challenge, and Valdivia did a nice job turning that double play for the Waves in the bottom of the 8th inning.
Good battle here from Valdivia as he fouls another pitch back.
Riptide have just the 1 shutout so far this season, a 13-0 win over the Bombers. Jackson Pace is trying to put the finishing touches on this one and have it join that win over the Bombers.
One-two. It was fouled back by Valdivia again.
Doing a nice job to stay alive and keep battling for long counts.
Trying to keep the game alive any way he can. One-two from Pace once more. It was fouled back again. We've seen I believe it was a 14-pitch at-bat earlier in the season.
That's true. You know what I just found out? I got bingo on that Justin Taylor home run. I hadn't even been looking at the home run square, but home run, walk, foul ball, single, diving play. So finally we're on the board.
I just can't believe it took you till the 8th inning to get your bingo. As Pace gets a strikeout on Valdivia looking, so the battle finally comes to a close as Pace picks up his first out of the day on a strikeout.
You know what they say, Avi? It's not about the destination. It's about the journey. And I think this game has been a great journey to get to bingo, and I'm just so happy with that outcome.
The good thing for you is you already have your free ticket for tomorrow here in the press box.
Just got informed I probably could have had bingo about an inning earlier if I'd read my card a little more carefully.
As the pitch misses outside. I think the bingo is the friends we made along the way, as they said.
Yeah, I think that's about right. I was just so focused on getting my bases loaded to give me bingo that I didn't realize there were so many other squares I could get.
Brady Lubin with an 1-0 count. Pinch hit back in the 7th inning as he takes a strike from Pace. It's 1-1. Flew out in his solo at bat when he came in for Nielsen back in the 7th. Still does not have a hit here in the CCL this season. (1-0) is way outside. 2-1 the count.
How about a double play right here for Jackson Pace? Just get a grounder from Lubin. Doesn't run all that well. One that rolls out to one of your middle infielders. Get a quick flip and end this ball game.
Well, it is double play Tuesday, so it would be a very fitting end to today's game. Already seen one double play on double play Tuesday from the Riptide defense, at least, as this pitch is outside for a strike. It's a 2-2 count.
That's true, but you know, the non-conventional lined to the outfield double play, I want a good old-fashioned, either a 5-4-3 or a 6-4-3, just a nice clean turn around the infield. The infielders show off what they can do.
Not in the 2-2. Swing and a miss. Back-to-back strikeouts for Jackson Pace. He's looking comfortable after allowing the leadoff walk 1 out away from giving the Riptide their second shutout of the season. Here's Michael Hollis. He also pinch hit in the 7th, as did Lubin, who just struck out. Here's the man tasked with keeping the game alive, down by 5 runs. He'll take a strike outside.
Great response from Pace after the leadoff walk to get a couple of Ks in a row. Trying to work on Hollis here. Don't want to let it get up to the top of the order again, and Tucci, who's on deck.
A 1 from Pace. Outside, same location. This time he doesn't get the call.
It's been one of those nights, you know, it's been going both ways. Both teams have done as best they can to adjust to the calls behind the plate. And obviously the Riptide have produced more with the bat. Doesn't feel like the umpire, even though it hasn't been the best night behind the plate, has decided this ball game in any way.
1-1. Pace finds the zone, and he's one pitch away from a 5-0 shutout win. Be a great way for the Riptide to start this week. And another home game tomorrow night against the other San Diego squad, the other affiliate team of the Bombers. 1-2. Hit out over the glove of Pace, out towards the glove of Fitzpatrick. Sliding throw over. Pulls Tiller off the bag. So a 2-out single for Michael Hollis keeps the game alive. And up steps Sam Tucci.
Yeah, that would have been a tough play right there for Fitzpatrick. Trying to cover a lot of ground, going to his right, make a throw off, fading off the back shoulder, and just not able to get it towards Tiller with any sort of speed or accuracy, unfortunately.
There's Tucci, who pinch hit in the 8th and singled. Got all the way to third base, but couldn't come around to score the Waves' first run of the game. Pitch goes inside. It's 1-0. 5 hits now for the Waves after the single from Hollis. Riptide with 9 in the game. We're talking about the Riptide schedule this week. It's much easier than it was last week. Of course, last week they had MLB, San Luis Obispo, Conejo, Barons twice at home, as Pace misses inside in 2-0. This week it's a lot simpler. Waves tonight, Bombers tomorrow. Then the 3-game stretch of CCL South teams Thursday through Saturday, Barons, and then back-to-back home and home against the Conejo Oaks. But the Philippines baseball group comes to town on Sunday. First meeting between the Philippines and the Riptide all season. 2-0 bounced out towards Tiller into his glove. He steps on the bag. It's a shutout Riptide winner here on this Tuesday night. Strong start to the week. 5-0 the final score after a great all-around performance from the OC Riptide. As we bring you into the broadcast booth, obviously Sam Evans. Sam, what did you see tonight from Orange County that impressed you?
Yeah, I just saw good, clean baseball. The Riptide didn't make mistakes. They didn't try to do too much at the plate. They took what the Waves gave them. Obviously did a great job on the mound. Whenever you give up 0 runs, you're pretty likely to win a ball game. But Riptide did a great job of executing today. Nice bounce-back win for the team, and hopefully they can keep it rolling tomorrow.
When you talk about the performance they had on the mound, you have to talk about how strong Tommy McGuire was in those 4 innings of work.
Oh, Tommy was fantastic. Didn't have his best stuff today. Little troubles with control, 3 walks and a hit by a pitch, so he'll be wanting to clean that up. But he was getting outs, he was missing bats, doing everything he needed to do to help the Riptide get a win.
Well, who's your player of the game today? Because I have one in my mind.
Let's take a look. I'm gonna go Justin Taylor. He homered. I mean, come on.
I think Tiller's a good pick. I'm going Zach Woodson. 3-hit game, a much-needed one for him. He's finally finding his form out there at the plate, so I got to go Zach Woodson. But I do think it was an overall performance. I think Nate Pone, you have to throw in there
That's
as
true.
well.
Nate Pone was awesome. Woody was great. Yeah, so great team win. That's the real key.
Solid win tonight for the Riptide. 5-0 the final score. We'll see you tomorrow when the Riptide take on the San Diego Bombers at Great Park. For Sam Evans, I'm Bobby Singh. For our producers, I'm saying good night from Great Park. Final score, Riptide 5, Waves 0.